are you? Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. We're streaming, as we always do, at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. And, well, we'd love for you to sign up for them. They're free. Can't beat free.
No, you cannot.
We've already had a threat of violence on the show just before the show
and
started.
And he is dying to ask the question that would cause the violence. Go ahead, say it.
Nope.
Say it now that we've started. Say it.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. No, not gonna do it.
Got to tell you, I was excited last night at 9:00. You had me fired up.
I was gonna say
for
keep it to your damn self.
The Bison and the Fighting Sioux, because I don't know what their real name is anymore.
Well, I think they're the Hawks.
Whatever.
They changed UND to the
But you
Hawks.
sold it. I mean, you sold it so well yesterday, David.
North Dakota State, North Dakota, they hate each other, separated by 75 miles along I-29.
I mean, it's kind of the way we feel about Sarasota.
Come on now.
But, David, when it's like 24-2 off the hop.
This baby's over. What else is on?
The only way it's not over is if the 6 seeds win in like that early in the game. Then I'm really interested to see if they can hold on. But when the 1 seed jumps out, but again, I'll tell you what, Gonzaga's going to get a 1 seed.
Yes.
And they deserve a 1 seed. There's no reason why they shouldn't get a 1 seed.
Right.
And I'm trying to, in my head here, work out, were they bored? Was it the fact that they're playing teams a third time?
I think that's it.
And I do too, because the last couple games were games at the half. They lost to BYU late in the year. And yesterday they ended up blowing out St. Mary's in the second half, but it was a 1-point game at the half. They were at a close game at the half the game before against San Francisco. So I'm wrestling because I've not watched a lot of the Zags. They're on late. I watched them early in the year when they played some of their better competition. Still have the 2 bigs and look good, but they're toying with me right now with these conference tournaments.
Well, the reason why I think they're dangerous is because they can score. They have basically 7 guys who average double figures. Now think about that. When's the last time you heard about a team that had 7 guys that averaged 10 points a game? I mean, that's pretty balanced too. So, they can score. Now, they have not always delivered in the tournament. And it's not just because they haven't cut down the nets. I mean, they have far more instances in their history where as a top 2 seed, they have not gone as far in the tournament as their seeding has said they should go.
They've underachieved more than they've overachieved. Because of their name and how they burst on the scene, you would think the opposite is true. The story's still remarkable. The program's still on top of the world, and what they've done is literally amazing. But they have underachieved by seeding more than they've overachieved in the last decade.
I mean, I believe this year will be their 22nd consecutive NCAA tournament appearance, because 99 was the year that they burst on the scene and they went to the Elite Eight. Had a dramatic Sweet 16 win over Florida the year before the Gators went and played for the championship against Sparty. So, and then it took Gonzaga like 15 years just to get back to the Elite Eight. They burst onto the scene and then kept having NCAA tournament disappointments. But yeah, they'll be a 1, no question about it. Think about what the West region will likely be.
Gonzaga will be the 1, San Diego State will be the 2.
Hello.
And boy, oh boy, if you're one of those 3 seeds, David, Louisville, Duke, Michigan State, Maryland, schools with a little pedigree.
Right.
Going out west and being the 3 or the 4 probably sounds not too shabby.
No, I don't think it does. I mean, even though you're facing 2 of the top 5 teams in the country.
I know, but by the time you face them, the pressure will clearly be on those teams, and they will be in a position that they are not used to.
But that is what is taking place on the court. The bigger story by the day is what is taking place off the court and whether or not we're going to have spectators at games
Well,
going forward.
first, let's start with, I think, the biggest news in this country about the coronavirus that happened yesterday in regard to sports was the Ivy League canceling their postseason tournament.
I was stunned.
I mean, and you answered it before I could ask you, but I was going to ask you on the old 1 to 10, what was your shock factor? Because I was dropping my jaw going, what the hell just happened? If they would have announced we were playing it in front of no fans, I would have said okay.
Yes.
But they canceled the tournament.
Yes.
Now, I will say Massachusetts, and I don't know how, my geography of every Ivy League school, I know Harvard's there, and I know there might be but Massachusetts yesterday basically tripled the number of positive coronavirus patients. They were at like 41 when the morning started, and they were over 100 by the time the day ended. And it may even be higher than that. So I understand that in the Northeast, there is a bit more of a panic mode than there may be in Florida. But I was completely stunned when the Ivy League canceled their tournament. And later in the day, the NCAA comes out and basically says that no health organization has told them that it's more dangerous to play games right now than it is not in front of crowds. I tweeted it yesterday, and I believe it to be true right after I heard that, David. I was being somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but I was pretty serious. Go to a game tonight. Last chance you may get to go to one in a while. And I wasn't being all that flippant when I tweeted that.
Well, it was at the end of the show yesterday in which I said if people are looking to get out and go to an event in which they think maybe going forward they won't be able to, FGCU baseball was hosting Georgetown. It was expected to be a beautiful night.
And it was a beautiful night.
It was a beautiful night. It was a good game, actually. Won in extra innings. FGCU won 6-5. But I was surprised for this reason. For those that don't pay close attention to the Ivy League, for many a year up until very recently, the Ivy League didn't have postseason tournament in basketball. Whoever won the regular season, that's who represented the league in the NCAA tournament. They were the last league to finally go, okay, we're going to play a postseason tournament. But they don't have a whole conference tournament, if you know what I mean. That not everybody makes the playoffs. In fact, they only have 4 teams make the playoff. So, half the conference, not even half the conference, makes the Ivy League tournament. So all you have are semifinals and a final on both men's and women's. So you're talking about a 6-game tournament. That's it. 3 men's games, 3 women's games. And it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. And the games were going to be played in Massachusetts this year. And I will say this, they gave plenty of notice. So nobody should have been affected from a travel standpoint. Games weren't supposed to start till Friday. They made their decision on Tuesday. That was nice. In theory, nobody was in transit, family, friends, what have you, to the game. None of the teams were traveling. But the Ivy League's like a minor league hockey league. It's a bus league.
Oh, very much so.
Because they play Friday, Saturdays. That's the other beautiful thing about Ivy League basketball. They literally play on back-to-back days. There's no day off on the road trip. Like the A-Sun does Thursday, Saturday, men's, Saturday, Monday, women's. No, Ivy League plays Friday, Saturday in men's basketball. That's right. The road teams bus overnight and then play the next day. And then they're like, yeah, you get your back to class and we take this academic thing seriously. Their thing is you miss as little class time as possible. And I was surprised they didn't just announce 3 days in advance no fans at the Ivy League tournament.
Right.
But when they canceled it entirely, I went, oh.
The state of Ohio, the governor issued, at first it was a suggestion.
It was a, quote, recommendation.
But then it seemed...
No,
it's still a recommendation.
Yeah, because the Columbus Blue Jackets have home games scheduled Thursday and Saturday, and they said, Mr. Governor, we appreciate your recommendation, but we're conferring with others, i.e. our bank account, and we're inviting fans to attend our games on Thursday and Saturday, especially since one of them's against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins.
But that is worth noting because Dayton is the host for the first 4.
And the governor of Ohio has recommended that all sporting events and large gatherings, all right, no longer take place with large gatherings of people in attendance. It's why, if you noticed last night, if you were paying attention to the political scene, both Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders had events scheduled for last night in Ohio. They were going to give their whatever speeches late last night from Ohio, because the next round of big primaries in a week, one of them's Ohio, along with Florida and a couple of other places. And both campaigns canceled those events because of what the governor had said mid-afternoon. The NHL team in the state is playing games on Thursday and Saturday. The MLS team in the state has a home match on Saturday. They are playing.
Again, Dayton, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Of next week. First
Cleveland, Friday, Sunday.
And Cleveland also hosting not only first and second round games in the men's tournament, they're also going to host games, I believe, in the women's tournament. Yet at the same time that political candidates are canceling rallies, two professional teams in the state are saying, thanks, we'll take it under advisement, but for this week, we're cashing checks. The MAC announced, okay, if that's how you want it, we'll continue to play our tournament coming up here in Cleveland, but it's going to be in an empty Quicken Loans.
Right. Yeah, the MAC tournament's there as well. You're right.
So that's a big empty building. Cavs aren't home for 2 weeks. All this week, the building's the MAC tournament, and then next week it's NCAA's, men's and women's. So the Cavs are on the road till the 24th. They're on the road, until a couple Tuesdays from now. And the NBA is openly talking about, we may have to continue playing in front of no fans. Now, it is worth noting there is no league that depends on the gate more than the NHL. And Mark, this may be a dangerous, I hope it's not considered to be an out-of-line thing to say. I believe that's why the Columbus Blue Jackets are continuing to allow fans. Because hockey teams, for an NHL team to cancel a game essentially or play it in front of no fans, that is a lot of money to an NHL team. I mean, we have said it for years. The NFL could play in empty stadiums. They don't need a single person to show up for their games. Which, takes us into another subject about, I've believed going forward that what Arthur Blank is doing in Atlanta with the cheaper concessions, I've believed I'll make the tickets cheaper. I'll make one price fits all, the whole deal, because the TV money is so unbelievable that, I would go the other way with my, price of ticket and all that, but that's another topic for another day. And so it is fascinating, just in the state of Ohio alone, what took place in 12 hours yesterday. Remarkable. And that's just this week. And because of what the governor of Ohio came out and did, and the action that everyone is taking, whether deciding to play with fans in the stands or deciding to play without fans in the stands or deciding not to play at all. What do you do if you're the NCAA, which for another day has kicked the can down the road?
And completely.
Yeah, I mean, they're buying time.
I believe they're waiting. Their end date is Sunday to make a decision.
Yes, at the absolute latest.
I mean, they've got until Sunday because no one's making any plans to go anywhere until Selection Sunday.
Right. Nobody knows nothing.
Nobody's booked a hotel room. Nobody knows when the games are. People may have already advanced and looked at Final Four cities if you're a Jayhawk, Dayton or whatever fan, and you may be booking Final Four weekend stuff.
Right. I mean, Kansas fan is always convinced they're going to be the number one seed in the Midwest, so they just take a look at locations.
Yes,
and they just start booking hotel rooms. Right.
Good news is you can cancel those without much of a charge until 48 hours.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the tournament doesn't get announced till 6-ish this coming Sunday, and so the NCAA has got until, well, 6 o'clock Sunday to decide, and they could just go, if you're the NCAA, do you go based on location? Certain areas where the coronavirus is
which is what the
hit?
NBA is already talking about. The NBA has come out and said, hey, we don't know exactly what we're going to do, or I don't know if they've said this officially, but it's been leaked out that they're looking at playing games where the virus is less likely to be.
Right, where there are fewer cases reported.
And that's why when Ohio went to the links they did yesterday, I'm looking up on, I think it was livescience.com, that's got a map by state, and I'm going, there's 3 confirmed cases. I mean, they're out in front. I mean,
Right, that's proactive.
No, I mean, because New York, Massachusetts, Washington, California, Florida, these are Texas. These are the 5-6 states with the most cases.
Right.
Ohio had 3.
But the belief is not to mix
No.
medicine with sports here, but we're all paying attention to this, obviously. But the belief is, since we had not done a whole lot of testing in this country, really,
and those numbers all came out yesterday.
Right, up until this week. And so now the numbers are going to go up, and they're going to go up big. They are going to go up in a big way, probably every day now for a week to 10 days. I mean, they just are.
And maybe even 2 or 3 weeks. And then based on what happened in China, then they will start going down.
And if you're paying attention to what happened overseas, for whatever reason, 24 hours ago was the day in which, the deaths in Italy literally 5-fold. Went from like 125 deaths to over 600 in a day. Wow. Okay. And it certainly now makes those of us in the States understand why it is that Italy 2 days ago said, we're shutting down the country.
Put it this way. Our poll yesterday,
right,
mixed the coronavirus, Southwest Florida, and sports.
Yeah.
Just very simple. Is it going to prevent you from going to any events? And basically, 87% of you said it wasn't going to. Either in the no category, 59%, or in the not yet category, 28%. David, I'm telling you right now, if we ran that poll again today, the numbers would be very different. And if we run them next week, they'd be different from today. I'm pretty convinced of that. Because I'm not in a full panic mode, but I'm certainly paying a lot more attention than I was a week ago.
Absolutely. I asked the folks at FGCU, I've asked them each of the last 2 days, I go, you changing any plans? Because even though they've got spring break and what have you, the baseball team's in the middle of a long homestand. Softball team had a doubleheader with FAU yesterday. The ASUN women's basketball tournament resumes tonight in a game we'll have for you here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. FGCU hosting North Florida in the semis. And I asked them, I go, any plans to play it before no fans? And they went, nope. And in fact, they sent out a press release last night to basically say business as usual. If you want to come, we'll take your money and the doors are open.
And I did not see a press release from the E-Blades, but I communicated with Craig Brush. He's going to join us at 7:30 this morning to kind of give us what they're up to at Hertz Arena, because it is the largest indoor facility in Southwest Florida.
Sure.
They have a pretty big event coming up on Thursday. The Blades seem to be playing home games every other day.
I think they're finally going to go on the road.
Are they?
I think, they had like 3 consecutive pretty big homestands. So I think they had a stretch of like 8 of 9 at home. So I think they're about to go on the road.
Well, that would make sense. A couple events coming to the building. But regardless, it is the largest venue down here.
Adam Sandler tomorrow night at Hertz Arena.
And that is, by all accounts, going on.
Right.
But I mean, like Pearl Jam yesterday. They announced their first world tour in quite a while. They're kind of a big deal.
Yes,
yesterday, they postponed the entire tour.
They did. Events in California that were scheduled for either this month or next month have been moved all the way to October.
Right. Coachella got moved to their big outdoor event. I mean, you're going to see that there are, and I'm just talking about on this side of the pond. Dave Dorsey and I had a little exchange on Twitter yesterday because he just kind of, okay, spring training. Any announcements there? And I'm like, yeah. And I made the comment to Dave of what we talked about. Homestead, Sebring,
it's a massive
TPC, Valspar, Heat, Magic, Lightning, Panthers.
NCAA first and second rounds in Tampa. Oh, my goodness. It's a massive sports month.
XFL.
You couldn't even keep a straight face. You were falling over to the left as you were delivering that line.
Sorry, that was fun.
And we'll give away 2 tickets if you know the nickname of the Tampa Bay XFL team.
Vipers.
Well,
look at that.
Look at
Sorry,
that.
when I know a trivia question, I just get excited, David.
Boy, I'll tell
Want
you.
my tickets.
Remind me never to do that again. But it is the biggest story in the country right now. It is the biggest story in the world right now.
Dan Walken's someone that I follow on Twitter. He wrote a nice horse racing piece 2 days ago, when I found out about how we ended up getting Kurt Becker on. When I saw the headline last night, as I was watching games and getting ready to hit the sack, and his column, I believe for today's USA Today, that he penned last night is, the NCAA should do the right thing and cancel the tournament.
Wait, he said cancel the tournament?
The tournament.
So he didn't just go play before no one. Yeah. Dan, I could actually argue it the other way.
I was shocked.
Now, I think they're going to end up playing before no one. I think the NCAA tournament is going to take place before no one. That the only people that are going to be allowed in the building are the student athletes, the coach, everyone associated with the teams. And here's my question, Mark. If you're the NCAA, if you make the decision to play it before no fans, are you going to let the cheerleaders and the band show up?
No.
So,
which the other thing that here's the other thing that I found reasonably interesting is some media members are kind of like saying, well, I'll be there to cover it. And I nearly tweeted back to a guy, what parking lot are you going to cover it from? Because here's the deal. If I'm canceling the game for all spectators, I'm canceling the game for the media. You know who I'm letting in? The cameramen and the broadcasters.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. We could discuss that in greater detail coming up. 249-8167. Would love to hear your thoughts on, this developing story and its impact on the sports world. What decisions would you make if you were running Hertz Arena, if you're running FGCU, never mind. If you're the NCAA, March Madness is a monster.
It is the monster. It's
event.
Not a monster. It's their largest event from a dollar standpoint by what? 100-fold?
Now remember, if the games go on, they get the TV money.
And that's all that matters.
It's what
it
matters
really is.
most. It's what matters most. But what is it you would do? 249-8167 to chime in via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line. 249-8167. If you're following us on Twitch TV, there is a chat room, and feel free to comment. Miller and Moulton, starting 5 is next. Craig Brush in an hour to talk about what it is they're thinking over at Hertz Arena and the Blades and events and what have you. And Seth Everett, it is a Wednesday. He will join us coming up a couple hours from now.
Craig did not like his time slot. I said, how about 7:30? He goes, that's 6:30 with the time change, but okay. I said, I don't know what to tell you.
Is he on the road?
I don't know.
Oh, well, he must be.
I don't know.
6:30 with the time change.
Well, I mean,
unless he's already, he's 3 days removed. He still hasn't adjusted for losing the hour of sleep.
Exactly. The trade deadline's come and gone. What the hell is he staying up late for?
I was going to say. I know there was a Wings game last night, but come on now. Miller and Moulton. Starting 5 is next. Thanks for making us part of your day here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Sometimes we just gotta take a moment.
That's what we gotta do.
Take that deep breath.
Take a breath and relax.
I'm very relaxed.
And say, damn, we're living our best life.
Yes.
From the MLB.
Deep left center field. This one's got a chance. Gone!
To the NFL.
Touchdown! 83 yards!
To the NBA. We're all laughing, just living and loving all of this.
Love it.
On Fox Sports Radio.
And the
Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business in half the resumes. Go to glassdoor.com/hire to find your next hire. Glassdoor.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Come and enjoy the company of NBA All-Stars, including Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Fame, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. VIP tickets give you the premium contact, including autographs and personal photo ops. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Warrior-Centric Healthcare Foundation that provides necessary healthcare needs to military and veteran communities. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill, 8990 Fontana del Sol Way, Naples. Don't miss this opportunity to be with NBA All-Stars and Hall of Famers. It's the Legends of Basketball Meet and Greet. For more information and to get your exclusive ticket now, go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
Hey, Aaron Walker here from Naples Nissan. So by now, you've had to have heard about our 8-year, 80,000-mile trade-in offer. If it's less than 8 years old, with less than 80,000 miles on it, we'll give you the original base MSRP for it. Yeah, so whatever that Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai, or Kia was worth 6, 7, 8 years ago, that's exactly what it'll be worth now. Ah, yes, but only at Naples Nissan. Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, yep, we'll take those too. Hundreds of happy customers from all over Southwest Florida have already brought us their trade-in. It's not too late for you to do the same. We've got over 400 new Nissan models on our lot. Pick out your favorite 2019 or 2020 model at NaplesNissan.com, and then we'll give you the original base MSRP for your trade-in so you can drive it home today. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Offer on select models with approved credit and cannot be combined. Visit NaplesNissan.com for full details.
Hey, this is Adam Botana from Bayswater Exclusive Boat Club, the only family-owned and operated boat club in Southwest Florida. At Bayswater, we have a contractual 10-to-1 member-to-boat ratio. That gives you unlimited access to over 40 of our boats, whether you're fishing or just cruising. Bayswater has you covered. And folks, the water's beautiful, and it's only getting better, and the fish are biting. Come on out. Want to keep the boats overnight? At Bayswater, anything is possible. This weekend, we're holding an open house and running special pricing, and no dues for 6 months. That's right, no dues for 6 months. Stop by and see the Bayswater difference. Call me, Adam Botana, at 239-495-0455. That's 495-0455. Again, 495-0455. Find us online at bwboatclub.com or just Google BW Boat Club. Bayswater, the exclusive club of Southwest Florida.
Out here, you need to control your environment, or it may control you. You need the Kubota L2501 HST compact tractor. It comes with all the easy-to-use implements you need. Get the L2501 HST for as low as $149 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months, plus a 6-year limited powertrain warranty. Now through February 29th, 2020. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
This is Brian Creel from Creel Tractor. Visit us online at CreelTractor.com. Creel Tractor since 1972.
If you've been denied Social Security benefits, here's something you need to know. The law firm you choose makes a big difference. In fact, Morgan & Morgan wins more than the national average in recovering Social Security for clients that were denied. That means that when you hire our lawyers, you have a better chance of recovering than with the average lawyer. And that's a really big deal. If you were denied Social Security benefits, call us. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Dial Pound Law on your cell. Pound Law, that's all.
Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
Listen to the Dan Patrick Show at work.
Never boring, that's for sure.
Streaming 24/7 at FoxSportsFM.com. We are Fox Sports. Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
"29 minutes before 7 o'clock on this Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live many a place, including the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Sign up. They are both free. Chime in via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 249-8167, 249-8167. So do you want to put the same poll question up again? See, my feeling is
no,
that,
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I think
because I actually thought it is a fascinating.
I want to wait till the middle of next week.
Okay, because I was wondering if maybe we just bring it back on Friday.
We'll see. You know what? It's a great discussion to have. I'm game. Friday, Monday, we'll bring it back. But I don't want to go coronavirus all the time.
I got you. But I think you made a dadgum good point that people's opinions about this are changing literally by the day.
Right, because every time you sniffle, I want you to do the show from home.
Just say the word, baby. I get to sleep an extra hour. All right,
an extra hour?
Yeah, it's a big difference if I do the show from home. It's an hour.
An hour?
Yeah, I get up at 4:30.
You'd get up at 5:30 if you do it there?
Darn right. The equipment's right there. I mean,
I know, but I don't even wake up that late here. I get up at 5.
Well, I understand, but you shower and the whole deal because you're getting ready for your day and all that.
Well, I feel. You know what? I feel like I'm a better host if I'm showered and ready than if I just come up here. Blah blah blah. I need a little wake up.
How's that go again?
Blah blah blah.
And with that, time for
the starting 5. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton's starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and foxsportsfm.com.
We could just exchange it for now it's time for. The way I think of it is blah, blah, blah,
blah. The MAC, quote unquote, with a restricted attendance policy, unquote, for their upcoming basketball tournaments in Cleveland. And the Middle American Conference went that route after Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, quote, recommended, unquote, events take place without spectators. The Columbus Blue Jackets of the NHL said, we appreciate the recommendation, but we've got home games Thursday and Saturday, and, well, we've sold tickets, and we're letting everybody come. The Columbus Crew of the MLS said, we appreciate the recommendation, but we've got a home match on Saturday, and we've sold tickets, and we're letting everybody come. Now, we'll see what it is they do next week when they both have home games of some sort. The NCAA released a statement saying, quote, they continue to assess, unquote, the situation, and that they will make a decision in the coming days. Now, first things first, the NCAA has the first 4, as they call it, or the play-in games, are Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, where? Dayton, Ohio, where their governor has just recommended that those events take place without anyone in the stands. And both the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments will have first and second round games in Cleveland. So we'll see what it is the NCAA does in the coming days. The Ivy League took the drastic step yesterday of canceling their postseason basketball tournaments. They went back to the regular season standings. Yale finished first in men's basketball. Princeton finished first in women's basketball. So the Ivy League made the decision to cancel this upcoming weekend's tournament in Massachusetts and to send Yale and Princeton to their respective NCAA tournaments. College hoops last night. Gonzaga won the West Coast Conference again. Second-ranked team in the country beat St. Mary's 84-66. Your Horizon League champion, former ASUN member, Mark, Northern Kentucky. They were in the A-Sun less than 5 years ago. They left to go to the Horizon. They've won 3 of the last 4 men's basketball championships.
On that note, I'm going to read you a text from last night at 9:17. I was going to answer this myself. It was directed at you. I know the answer. You know the answer. But they asked you, so I will let you answer on air. David, I just watched Northern Kentucky win the Horizon Championship, another former A-Sun school. Maybe it's time for FGCU to move on, like Mercer and Belmont. They are stagnant, no growth. Need some juice to advance the sports programs here in Southwest Florida. A new league. Your thoughts?
Well, I will say I have always pinpointed the Colonial as the place where if FGCU were to ever get up and move, that would be the place to move to. But the point really is Belmont, Northern Kentucky, Mercer, East Tennessee State, all in the A-Sun last decade, and all have moved on. And in the case of East Tennessee State, Northern Kentucky, and Belmont, have all done well. Mercer actually had their crowning achievement their final year in the A-Sun in basketball. You know, they beat FGCU in the A-Sun title game. They went to the tournament. They beat Duke in a 3-14 first-round matchup. They haven't been back since. Now, their programs are doing okay in other sports, but that's their marquee sport. And so, it's been noted, and it has been noticed. But Northern Kentucky winning the Horizon over Illinois Chicago 71
But
to
I think
62.
the other side of this is that, David, financially, one, they don't have enough money even in their own league, and two, are any, in all seriousness, would any of these leagues with open arms welcome FGCU?
Not yet. I mean, I thought the Colonial was going to continue to expand south. The Colonial, a few years ago, added schools in North Carolina, and then I believe they added one in South Carolina. And I'm like, there you go. Keep moving south. And then eventually, because when the A-Sun a few years ago looked as if it was in peril, you start looking for, well, where is it that FGCU can go? But, Mark, you touched upon what is becoming a concern over there. They need money. They are falling behind in the arms race in the A-Sun. So imagine where they would be in the arms race if they were to join another quote-unquote better conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think the SoCon would be a much better fit than the Colonial.
But the SoCon plays football, I believe. Don't they? Or or am I getting them confused with the Big South?
I thought the Big South, East Tennessee State, Furman, UNGC, I know Mercer plays football. So, David, I pay so little attention to, bad college football that Big South is UNC Asheville. I think that Campbell, there's some football on both of those that I know of.
I mean, Campbell left the A-Sun to play football and to play it in the Big South. I think Liberty was in the Big South, and they were getting kicked out because they were going up a level in football, and so the Big South said, "Well, if you can't play football, we're not interested in you." And that's where
that's another FGCU problem that they have is that they don't play football.
They're one of it's now going to be 3 schools in Florida because Jacksonville just dropped their football program. North Florida, Jacksonville, and FGCU are the Division I schools in the state of Florida that do not play football in any way, shape, or form. Stetson plays it at the lowest level possible. Bob Moe back in the tournament. Robert Morris winning the Northeast, 77-67 over St. Francis. Hofstra wins the Colonial, 70-61 over Northeastern. And as Mark mentioned a while ago, North Dakota State crushed North Dakota. 89-53 to win the Summit League. ACC tournament got underway yesterday. Carolina, a 22-point win over Vodtech. And I have a feeling it's going to be Danny Manning's last game as head coach of Wake Forest. Wake lost to Pitt 81-72. NBA last night, Orlando went into Memphis and won 120-115. They'd beaten back-to-back playoff teams in the Western Conference on the road back-to-back. All right. Boston nearly blew a 19-point lead but held on to beat Indiana 114-111. How about Brooklyn going into Staples and beating the Lakers last night? Little letdown for L.A., 104-102. And the Rockets snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 117-111 win over Minnesota. NHL news, Toronto 2-1 over Tampa Bay. They're now 3 points ahead of the Panthers, but they have played one extra game. Boston in a showdown against first-place teams in the East. Shut out Philadelphia 2-0. Penguins with a 5-2 win over the Devils. And the Rangers a 4-2 win over the Stars. Did you catch this yesterday? The NFL, first off, they pushed back the franchise tag designation day to Monday.
Right.
Since the NFLPA has pushed the vote
until Sunday.
Until midnight Saturday.
Right, yeah.
Basically, as Saturday turns into Sunday, that's when all the votes have to be in. They also, this timing is interesting, elected a new NFLPA president. Eric Winston is no more. Brown center J.C. Tretter is the new NFLPA president. It's interesting. Timing. You would think you'd keep Winston on board at least through the vote and then have this guy take over afterwards, but no. His first few days on the job are going to be kind of hectic, actually. But the NFL handed out compensatory picks yesterday. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Handed out around 36 picks to 15 teams. Patriots get the most.
Dolphins got a few, though.
They did. Patriots got 4, including 2 third-rounders. Denver, Houston, Minnesota, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Seahawks all got 3 compensatory picks. Bucs and Dolphins each get an extra 4th-round draft pick, and Miami also gets an extra 7th-rounder. So, there you have it.
This is just more reason to let you know that the Miami Dolphins are going to be wheeling and a-dealing come draft weekend.
Boy, you got to think so,
they've
right?
got like 13 picks for crying out loud.
Add 2 on to whatever they had before yesterday. One's a 4th-rounder and one's a 7th-rounder. They could basically move up in every single round. If there's somebody they don't want to wait an extra 10, 15 minutes for, just go up and get them. Might as well. And that, Mark, is
the starting 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton's Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
I don't pay attention to this, but the E-Pre, Seth Everett will talk about this the whole 15 minutes we have him on the air if you want, the whole esports thing. But they have a 14-race series. 3 of the 14 races have now been canceled. And this is esports. And they've canceled 3 E-Pre races. Miller and Moulton. And what we talked about earlier in the week with Indian Wells canceling and tennis, this whole European clay court season.
It's in definite jeopardy right now.
At the very least, you got to think they're going to be playing before empty stadiums.
I don't want to get out too far just yet, but I think at least the initial part of it is. At least the initial part of the European leg of that tour will be played largely on television only. Boy. If at all.
Yeah, maybe
because
the first part
I
gets
will tell you
out.
the one thing, and someone did text us. We'll get to it in a second. I do want to get to this text that someone sent, and I did see an article. I get a newsletter every morning that's more on the business side of sports, and they mentioned this. When we come back, we'll talk about the one big fear that all of these leagues should have, and what a texter brought up as well. What could happen next? Miller and Moulton. Fox Sports Radio, streaming at FoxSportsFM.com. And now you can look live on Twitch or YouTube.
Welcome to the program.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I think Luka is just going to be one of those players where you go, he put up 30, 17, and 10. Zion could go 5 for 18, but have 3 highlight dunks and a block.
Someone says, you mentioned Liberty has more resources than other ASUN schools. Can you explain that? I said, it's Jerry Falwell's University. Their endowment is $1.43 billion. I think that explains it.
Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. on
100,000
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Dr. Jim DiRespino from Center for Men's Health today in Frank's garage. Doc, I was talking to a buddy of mine, telling him about my spring break plans, and he's like, where do you get the energy to do all this stuff? I said, testosterone replacement from C4MH.com. And then he asked me what testosterone has to do with energy.
The fighting jellyfish. They don't fight. What do they fight in? The women's basketball team fights.
99% of our patients, energy is the main focus.
I became a patient because I didn't want to lose muscle mass.
And there is hard data that testosterone improves mood, concentration, and memory.
So Center for Men's Health isn't just treating testosterone deficiency, it's treating the quality of your life.
Let me make this simple. Your body is a machine, and that machine was designed to run with a perfect testosterone level. But if you want to see how good your machine can perform, go to C4MH.com and spend the $45. You'll get over $400 of lab tests and a 30-minute physician consultation.
It's fast, easy, and convenient with locations all up and down the West Florida coast. Go to C4MH.com.
We're on the phone with our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tec to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tec for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tec in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec wood, look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
In life, it's best to have options. The more options, the better. But the one-size-fits-all approach is never an effective way to get the best possible outcome, especially when it comes to erectile dysfunction and intimacy with the one you love. The Fort Myers Men's Clinic has successfully treated over 30,000 patients in the network with a 97% success rate. We know better than anyone that a one-trick pony doesn't work with all men, and you deserve options. That's why men choose the Fort Myers Men's Clinic. We offer many different FDA-approved options to resolve your ED, not just one, and they're all administered by a Florida licensed medical physician. No matter your age or medical condition, only the best clinical options to help determine what's best for you. If your doctor has only one option in treating your ED, then call the Fort Myers Men's Clinic. Don't trust the one-trick ponies. Trust the Fort Myers Men's Clinic. After all, 30,000 men can't be wrong. Call today for an appointment at 239-317-7777, 317-7777, or FortMyersMen'sClinic.com.
Hey, this is Adam Botana from Baywater Sousa Boat Club, the only family-owned and operated boat club in Southwest Florida. At Baywater, we have a contractual 10-to-1 member-to-boat ratio. That gives you unlimited access to over 40 of our boats. Whether you're fishing or just cruising, Baywater has you covered. And folks, the water's beautiful and it's only getting better. And the fish are biting. Come on out. Want to keep the boats overnight? At Baywater, anything is possible. This weekend, we're holding an open house and running special pricing. And no dues for 6 months. That's right, no dues for 6 months. Stop by and see the Baywater difference. Call me, Adam Botana, at 239-495-0455. That's 495-0455. Again, 495-0455.
She's pretty sure
Find
she
us
has
online at bwboatclub.com. Or just Google BW Boat Club, Baywater, the exclusive club of Southwest Florida.
Screaming at the Department of Health.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
It was scary.
Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Ten minutes before 7 o'clock. Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks for making us part of your day on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All right, to our Twitch crowd.
Yes.
Here is something. Well, no, you're the host. You're not really the Twitch crowd. This is to our Twitch crowd. If you really want to mess with David, all you have to do is send 3 or 4 texts right when the music comes on, because he can't help it. If he sees the light of the white text pop on the screen, his head goes away from the microphone and right to the computer to read it. And then he spends sometimes, like this commercial break, he went down, got some water, talked to my wife for a little bit, came back upstairs, talked to me for a little bit. The music started. He noticed that he had missed a couple of texts.
Right.
And instead of starting the show, boom.
Boom.
Right to the screen.
The same thing happens when my wife's talking to me and I get a text on the phone. It's like,
do you really?
Honey, hold that thought. I got to see what's going on
No,
here.
you don't.
Oh, I do it a lot.
Oh, she must get angry.
I can't believe she hasn't stabbed me in the neck.
I can't either. I really can't.
I mean,
wow.
I mean, she is she is a minister's kid, so she's not prone to violence. But let me tell you.
So I made this statement because Dan Wolken from the USA Today yesterday wrote an opinion article. I did not read the whole article, but I'll read you the title. And I know they don't write their own titles, but I think this title sums up what the article's about. Opinion. It's time for the NCAA to make the right call, tough call, and cancel March Madness. Now, I disagree with that. But as a texter says, you might be shocked, but actually I wish it wasn't true, but canceling the tournament is the only conscionable thing to do on that end because you're putting all the players, all the hotel employees, everybody at risk unnecessarily because of a sporting event. I'm telling you, we need to err on the side of caution on this whole deal. Sports are fun. Sports are a chosen recreational hobby to watch, but this deal with the virus, we need to use our heads and protect people. And I don't think anything he said is out of line. I guess I'm waiting for the CDC or someone to tell us we shouldn't gather in large places. They have not said to stop these things yet. Disney is still, like, I'm more freaked out that Vegas and Disney are still running full bore than a basketball game's being played.
Oh, man, did you have to mention Vegas?
Well, no, David. Vegas and Orlando, New York City, San Francisco, Miami. Name the other places that get more international travel than those 5 spots in our country.
No, I'm being a little selfish here. My wife turns the big 5-0 in 3 weeks, and we have a planned trip to Vegas. And so when you mention Vegas, because I'm still every night just looking up at the gods going, oh, come on, we really need it. We need some fun. You should, come on, can you somehow make Vegas happen?
I didn't mean to do that to you, but I mean, like, maybe I'm out of bounds here, but New York, LA, San Francisco, Miami, they are very international cities in our country.
Well, I have thought about the 2 Disneys. And I mean, I've gone, this is interesting. I mean,
there's 5-6 theme parks in Orlando that are open, full bore. It's spring break, everybody. So, sir, you may be right, and I am not trying to argue with. I'm not trying to argue with what your point is because I don't think you're wrong. Erring on the side of caution might be the right move, but I'm yet to hear the CDC say that. And when we have all these other places that have far more international travel, that seems to be a bigger concern to me than a sporting event in Ohio.
Now, listen, if you want to have the risk of contracting the coronavirus be at 0, yeah, you cancel the event. But for the obvious reasons, i.e. a multi-billion-dollar television contract, they are going to play these games. It's just a matter of how many people are going to be allowed in the building to play these games. They are not canceling this tournament. That is not happening. I mean, like you've just pointed out, when they shut down Disney, and if they do it before Sunday, then there's a chance this thing doesn't happen. But short of that, it's happening. It's just a matter of how many people are going to be let through security. And I'm guessing there's going to be no fans. That if you're running the NCAA, even if you think that people are overreacting to some degree and that you could hold these tournaments and the likelihood is that things will go okay, you have to be in the risk management business. That's part of being a responsible leader here. And yeah, you're going to lose some money. And there's no doubt the cities, it's going to hit them. It's going to cost them millions of dollars in economic impact. But the games are going to go on. It's just a matter of how many people are going to be in the stands. And, Mark, my guess is if for fear of lawsuit, if nothing else, that the NCAA will play it safe, and sometime before 6 o'clock Sunday, they'll say, well, the games are going on and there's going to be no one in the stands. It's going to remind us of that SEC basketball tournament. I mean, what are we talking, like 2012, 2013? The tornado ripped through Atlanta, shockingly out of nowhere.
Right.
And the Georgia Dome was no longer available to play the rest
They
of
had holes
the
in the
tournament.
roof of the Georgia Dome, so they couldn't finish it there. They moved it over to Georgia Tech, and in order to accommodate the teams and, they couldn't put all the fans in and make it fair.
And so they said, sorry, none of you are allowed in.
They allowed parents. I mean, there was some people in there, like parents and some staff, but there was a crowd of like 22 for each team. It was crazy.
No, big boosters who didn't get in. Big.
Yes.
Who didn't get in, who hadn't missed, Kentucky games in forever and were missing them. And that's when Georgia went on their remarkable run. They actually had to win 2 games in a day at one point. They were so backlogged in games. They won like 5 games in 4 days. And they made it to the NCAA tournament. But, yeah, Vernon Raft did the final in an empty Georgia Tech arena.
Miller and Moulton. We'll talk with Craig Brush from Hertz Arena next hour. Thanks for listening. Fox Sports Radio.
It's like 51 and a half.
And I'm with Wes Dobbins, a very satisfied Tim Tracing Motors customer.
Thanks. Oh, that's the truth there, fan. There's no doubt about that.
Vehicles from Tim Tracing Motors.
I'm
Beamers,
so sad.
To Cadillacs, to cars for our kids.
I'm so sad. I put a beautiful little weekend together. Seinfeld, rock and roll show, staying on the strip.
Appreciate that they're so picky about the quality of cars that they bring to the
I
market.
really
They
did.
have always stood
I'm
behind
so
their
bummed.
cars, and that's why we'll continue to
And
be loyal Tim Tracing Motors
Going
customers.
to be able to get any of that back?
There you have it. Visit online at timmotors.com.
I don't think you'll get to miles.
That's timmotors.com. Or
I mean,
call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275
I think the wife's hoping that
At Tim Tracing
events
Motors,
will be
they're
canceled
confident. When you meet them, you'll agree that
so
you've
that
never
we can
been
get
to a
money
dealership
back.
like theirs
I
before.
know, but
Visit online at timmotors.com.
No, I'm about ready to
That's
start calling and
timmotors.com.
find
Or
out
call
what
to
the
set up an
deal is.
appointment At 275-7900. 275-7900.
Get your tickets
My
now.
understanding is the
All-Star
fine
Events
print in
presents
your
the
airline
Legends of
tickets
Basketball. Meet and
is
greet
that
Monday, March
you're
16th, 4 to
hosed.
6 p.m. at
If the airlines
Bar
want
and
to
Grill.
stick it to us, they can.
All-Stars, Nate Archibald,
Okay,
Rick
but I
Barry,
don't believe they are.
Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. A portion of the proceeds to benefit Veterans Healthcare. Meet and greet
Why
the
not?
Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Campers Sports Bar and Grill. Get your tickets at Naples All-Star.
Yeah, I did not take insurance out. I've never had to cancel a trip before.
That's right.
And by the way, insurance is, I tried to use it for a trip that I canceled, and I still haven't got my money back yet.
Yeah.
Kind of like health insurance.
Right.
Intuitive, and now he appears
It's kind of
to be
like a
excited
hurricane
about
coming through, and you're lucky to see 30 cents on the dollar.
Really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Hey,
Visit
Frank.
theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Come over
Brought
here,
to you by
Frank.
Maddie's Fund, the Humane
People can
Society of the
see
United
you,
States and the
but
Ad
just the side of your
WFSX
face.
AM from Naples to Cape
Hi.
Coral and all of
How you
Southwest
doing,
Florida.
Frank?
94.1 Fox Sports Radio.
We'll shave this
Here's
later
what's trending
today.
now, brought
This
to you by the
is
Center
maybe
for Men's Health.
might be the thickest I've ever allowed it to grow. That's a pretty dress. Looks like my 9th grade science project run amok. Look at this. Spraying the inside of airplanes. Whew.
Well, it's like this, someone who's listening from somewhere else just says, struggling with the decision to come back to Florida for spring break next week with tickets purchased for 2 days at Universal. Not to mention going to a spring training game while there. I get it. I touched Jake yesterday because North Carolina governor issued a state of emergency. They had like 6 cases, too. I said, well,
that's all for money.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
Worst case scenario, virtual class.
Yep.
You can't declare a state of emergency and then send kids to school. You can't.
I think a lot of kids Sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon 8
Well,
p.m.
UCLA's already in until April 2nd. Yeah.
It's up to you now. It's up to you. Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Couple minutes past 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. They are free, so we encourage you to sign up for them. 249-8167 is how you can chime in via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line. 249-8167. Lively conversation, both on the text line and on the Twitch TV chat line, for that matter. I wonder if we were a day early with our poll question.
It's possible. We still need to come up with one for today, and we haven't even discussed it during a break yet.
No, because it's been, predominantly a one-topic show.
Well, and this is the topic on this, David, I wanted to get to. Is I signed up for a newsletter. It's called John Wall Street. Kind of, like they say, at the intersection of sports and finance.
Okay.
And here is the headline of their article. Because yesterday's article was COVID-19 unlikely to decimate sports-related revenue in America. And they went into their explanations why.
All right.
And they, now today, they haven't gone a 180, but they did put, in their opinion, the doomsday scenario for one of the four major sports leagues in this country. A player testing positive could result in an abbreviated season for pro sports leagues. Arsenal is going through this right now. Their owner was tested positive.
Right.
He was sitting with several, key staff members during the game. They have all been quarantined. Any player that came near him has been quarantined, and they are now having to cancel a match in the Champions League.
Right. Because
I shouldn't say cancel, postpone a match in the Champions League. That was incorrect. They did not cancel it. They postponed it.
And because the owner and one player in particular on the team was in close proximity to that owner, having a conversation 2 weeks ago and what have you. And so to take the precaution, even though they said, the odds are very long that, this player will come down with it, never mind him giving it to anyone else, but they're, better be safe than sorry. And, there's not a whole lot of events worldwide that are bigger than, European soccer. I mean, soccer's a big deal, and there's a lot of TV money tied up in these soccer leagues, and they're canceling matches, and they're playing before empty stadiums. But then again, it hit there before it hit here. And so we've been watching from afar for weeks now, and we've seen how the rest of the world, when they've been hit, has reacted.
And what is concerning with me from a sports standpoint, because, we kind of put Wink on in the morning, that rolls into CBS. There's a TSA agent that's tested positive. There are first responders that have tested positive. Those are the things that I think there should be concern about. And again, until we start shutting airports and Disney and Vegas and hotels down, I don't know how we can shut sporting events down, David. I don't. But I'm not saying that we shouldn't.
But if you're running a league, if you're running a team, don't you, even if it can be judged as an overreaction, don't you have to err on the side of caution here? Right now, the NHL is full steam ahead. I will say this. I'll bet you the NBA and NHL are both very happy right now. They don't have franchises in Seattle yet. And the NHL is going to get one in a couple years, but the NBA hasn't had one for a while. And I think both are thankful right now that that's the case. And I think that the NFL is, first off, how about the NFL draft?
Oh, again.
In Vegas in about 7 weeks.
I would bet the NFL draft goes off without a hitch.
Well, then why can't I go to Vegas and see my shows?
You can. you're going to have to take me because your wife's not going with you.
It'll be a very romantic weekend.
Like a very special blossom.
Right.
Wish I'd have had a shot at your Sandler tickets. You know, I mean, I'm trying to do what I can. I'd have bought those from you, too. What do you want for the Vegas tickets? My wife and I will go.
Well, I'll have to add up the damage. I'll have to add up the damage over the next couple days when I get home. Okay. Beautiful 3-day, 3-night.
Should be spectacular.
Yep. Trip planned, airfare. I mean, I'm going to sound like on a game show. Airfare, hotel accommodations. While in Vegas, you'll see Jerry Seinfeld and a rock and roll extravaganza. We'll even throw in $500 cash for you to hit the tables with. This weekend in Vegas is valued at $2,328.
And for the record, for people saying, you know, you could just set up tables at your house, David's wife might pull a slot lever twice. She wasn't going to do any gambling in Vegas. She was going to see shows, do some people watching, watch the strip, and her husband was going to gamble.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had gotten my wife to agree to gamble as much as $50 on the slots.
Wow, that's big.
Yes. But I thought I had 3 more weeks of negotiations.
And I guess it was a Greek owner of a team that came in contact with some Arsenal players. I apologize for my European soccer mishap there. The point of the story was exactly still the same. But
that sounds very messy, a European soccer mishap. 249-8167, 249-8167, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line. Can we just revisit the poll results from yesterday? Our poll question was, had the coronavirus affected your behavior in terms of in Southwest Florida, recreation,
was it going to prevent you from going to any sporting events or any attractions? And I put that up there because, you know, whether it's going to Stan's on Sunday or the casino in Immokalee or whatever the case may be, the dog track. I mean, not just going to an Everblades game or an FGCU game or a spring training. We're down here to do things.
Sure.
The Blues Fest is this weekend in Bonita, which is a terrific event for the record. Kevin Barry does an amazing job. Great music Friday and Saturday in Bonita. That is a free plug because he's been a very long friend of mine. They give all the money that they raise to charity and to really solid deal. Good music. Good music. That would be my recommendation for the weekend. But 87% of you said it wouldn't really, you know, no or not yet.
We had 3 choices. Yes, you've changed your behavior because of it. No, you haven't. Not yet. I fell under not yet. This was yesterday. I fell under not yet. So you said 87% between no and not yet.
Right. 59% no, 28% not yet.
Okay. All right. And that's basically 6 out of 7, 7 out of 8 of you had not changed your behavior as of yesterday. Now, if we ask that question of you today, my guess is an extra 10% would have said that they've already made some change of plans and or they've decided to change their behavior going forward.
And someone asked, you know, how many people are depending on these games, meaning the tournament, for their livelihood? And I just kind of went such as, and he's like hotel staff, venue staff, temp employees. I don't think we're going to worry about temp employees for this and the concessions people. I don't think 2 days of concession work makes or breaks anybody's life. As far as the whole hotel staff and venue staff, the hotel staff gets paid whether the team show up or not. The venue staff, the part-time people, may not get paid. I don't know what to tell you. Those are minimum wage jobs. I know that could affect people, but I can't imagine that the 8-10 hours they were going to work 2 days is the make or break point of a life.
No, I don't think it's make or break, but this does fall under the whole economic impact of it. I mean, we all know if you go from full hotels to 40% occupancy.
That's happening everywhere right now, regardless of events being canceled. I mean, just reading some things this morning. San Francisco restaurants are getting crushed right now because people aren't going out.
I mean, Seattle.
You even said Sunday down here you found it to be far less people than a normal Sunday in March.
Now, this could just be, sometimes you show up at certain places at certain times and you catch a lull. But I went to a Publix at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Right, that's go time in the grocery store.
In March? Yeah.
In April, in June.
I walked right up to the deli counter and, ordered meat. And
did you have to get a number?
Well, I grabbed one anyway. See,
out of habit now.
Yeah, I do that for me. That's my own personal enjoyment. I want to see how far the numbers are off. That the number that's posted versus the
what
green
bothers
ticket.
you more, really quickly, quick sidebar, what bothers you more, getting number 87 at the deli line when they're on like 12, or the fact that there might still be a clock in my house that hasn't been changed because of the time change?
No, since it's your house, it doesn't bother me. If it was my house, all right, forget
the showroom where I work at Soho. We do like high-end kitchens. We got we got a working kitchen. There's these Wolf ovens, side-by-side ovens. And since I've worked there, they've been off by like 2 minutes.
Oh.
And I laugh every day thinking about it. And one of the gals in the office yesterday, 2 days ago for the time change on Monday, she's fixing them. And I said, how much does it bother you that those two are off by like 3 minutes? She goes, you have no idea. These are such a pain in the ass to change.
Yep.
And it kills me every time I walk down. So now I've got another place where I'm going to figure these out and just move them all by a minute or two. Just to drive. I find that great.
Plus, also, you got people who grab the green ticket and then people who don't. It's like, hey, come on now. If we're all in here in line, we got to play by the rules.
I will tell
Get
you,
your damn number.
that's I just go, no matter if there's 2 people in line or 20, I grab the number because you never know if they're using them. You never know if the deli counter people are actually using the number. So I think you're safe to get one. Tell you what, show up at a Fresh Market on a Tuesday when they've got like the $2.99 or $3.99 ground beef and chicken. Save your number from the last time you were there. You've got a better shot.
So, and then on Sunday, I went to one of my favorite, little watering holes to just chill out for an hour or so. I had worked a radio shift and just needed to unwind. And, the place is normally packed. Parking lot's normally packed. And it was pretty empty at 4:30 on a Sunday. And I went, this is unusual. So that's all. I just noticed.
And it was a West Coast NASCAR race.
Exactly. Race was still going on. Ohio State and Michigan, I think, were playing the late game.
Ohio State, Michigan State, actually. It was a sneaky little sports day on Sunday. Clippers, Lakers. It was a nice little sports day. A little golf.
Carnage at Bay Hill.
Right. I mean, there was a nice little sports day.
It was not bad. And so that's all. I just thought that things were a little lighter, softer this weekend. That's all. Could just be I got lucky, the handful of places that I went. It happens. So,
and I didn't leave my couch on Sunday, so I have no idea of what you speak.
249-8167, 249-8167, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line. Let me ask you, though, a serious question. NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. I mean, their regular season's starting in 2 weeks. Forget this whole spring training. I mean, this is child's play. We're talking 7,000 to 12,000 people at these games. I mean, honestly, this is child's play. We got the regular season starting in 2 weeks.
Right. I mean, these crowds are going to be all like what Dig 2 crowds are like.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they'll get this is packed for a Marlins and Rays game, okay? But and the A's, but for the other 27 teams, and the Indians, but the other 26 teams, we got real attendance issues. But New York City's hit pretty hard here. And a nearby city, New Rochelle, they're
on basic quarantine.
Yeah,
I mean, they're on lockdown.
Yeah. Governor Cuomo has said, hey,
they've put up
a 1 mile perimeter, if you will, in which then they've called in the National Guard and they've said to people, hey, stay quarantined, all right, and, we'll get you your stuff if you need it, quite frankly.
This is very Dustin Hoffman outbreak right here.
It is. It is, but it's a serious situation, and they are openly talking. The Mets and Yankees right now are trying to figure out, okay, they're saying this is going to get worse before it gets better. We've got games in 2 weeks. We've got 30 to 50,000 people that are showing up at these things. What are we going to do?
And it looks as if every pro, and I know they're not, at least I hope they're not, but it looks as if every pro sports league is on a wait and see to see who acts first.
Yeah, my money is on the NBA.
Mine is as well. Because yesterday it became very apparent to me that they were about to play games with people without people in the stadiums. Because it was about a week ago or 5 days ago that the most important player in the sport said, I won't play games if there are no fans. And yesterday he said, one, that he would, and that he didn't even know that that was really a possibility. I mean, he got up there and backtracked off of that statement so quickly.
Yeah.
And that's because Adam Silver called him just before that and said, LeBron, here's the deal. We're going to play games without fans. And what I need you to do is go to a microphone and figure out some way to back off the statement you said, because you are the most important player in our sport. And we make our money off of television, not tickets. So we need you playing, and we need you on board with this. And then LeBron ran to a microphone and was on board with it. Amazing how he changed his mind so quickly.
Right. He said, I really hadn't given it much thought, and I had maybe even misunderstood what you were getting at, and, kind of immersed in playing. We had a big weekend coming up, and I was immersed in preparation for the Bucks and the Clippers and what have you. But, now that I've taken a step back, blah, blah, blah. And
translation is we're playing games without fans very quickly.
Well, but also in the 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it was, I mean, LeBron's out in L.A. now, and what happened in Southern California? They canceled what is the biggest non-major tennis tournament on the tour,
and
the Indian Wells tournament. And Coachella
I was
is
going to
getting
say,
canceled.
screw Indian Wells. They moved Coachella 6 months.
Right.
I mean, there are people on Instagram that aren't going to know what to do for months because of all the fashion pictures that will not be there, David.
So I think the NBA by next week at the latest.
And the NHL should be first, but as we've pointed out, both yesterday and today, there is no league more dependent on ticket revenue than the National Hockey League.
Well, and in fact, and I'm just going to throw this out there, I actually think the NCAA is going to go first. I think the NCAA before Sunday is going to say, we're playing these games, and I think they're going to piecemeal it. I think they're going to say, we're going to take the first week with no fans. Okay, we're a lot of stuff out there. We're going to play it safe. How about we do the first week in Dayton and the first and second round games? We do that with no fans, and then we'll take inventory. We'll see what it's like. Because the other thing is also, they go from 9 venues, if you will, Mark. The 8 host sites, and then the Dayton, down to 4 the following week. They basically could then take a look and see, how those particular states and the coronavirus and the spread and all that, so they can buy themselves another week or so for the regional finals. But my prediction is the NCAA comes out and says, we're taking next week, and we're taking that off. Because the other thing in the back of their mind is that, hey, are we sure we want to not have fans at the Final Four? I mean, is there a way for us to, just kind of go week by week with this?
Did any of you ever play basketball as a kid? Ever play organized team basketball? I don't care if it was 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. The difference of that ball and the way it sounds in practice in a pillbox gym,
right,
versus the way it sounds with just 50 or 100 people in there, let alone a dome.
Right.
Now, I will say, do you think the NCAA between now and Sunday will look to move some venues? If they're going to take fans out of it, would they consider moving venues?
I think
because of, Sacramento being in this, Spokane being in this?
I think they will only do it if the governors of those states or the mayors of those cities actually say, hey, listen, if we're not bringing fans, why don't you just move this? But it is pretty late in the deal.
I understand that.
There's this stuff planned out years in advance and all that. So my guess is, unless the governors of those states say, hey, while you're at it, you could move this, we'd be fine with it. I don't think they'll do it. But I do think the NCAA is going to at least do the first week of the tournament with no fans. And the NBA is going to follow shortly thereafter. by saying we're going to take the rest of March where we're going to play games in front of no fans. And I think, Mark, it's going to put the NHL in a very interesting spot because the NHL does not want to do this.
No, they don't.
In no way, shape, or form. They don't want to come out and say it, but they don't want to do it. First off, they got 6 franchises in Canada, and the coronavirus is not nearly the issue in Canada than it is in the United States. That right now, anyway, that's number one. Number two, as we've mentioned, hey, this is business. This league needs its home dates. I mean, this is the difference between franchises making and losing money. Make no mistake about it. They do not get nearly enough money in their TV deals.
So, and NHL ticket prices aren't cheap.
No, they are not. And this is not money that these franchises want to be refunding either, at all. So it would not shock me at all, Mark, if the NHL actually just trudges forward.
Wow, that would be fat.
If I'm throwing it out there, and I have a feeling that the end of spring training is going to be affected. I have a feeling that Major League Baseball may just play the end of spring training safe. They may just say, you know what? No fans for like the, I don't know, last 3 to 5 days, something like that. That basically, if they're this close to getting out of Arizona and Florida without anybody contracting the coronavirus that they know, they may just say, you know what, we're going to play it safe in these last 3 or so games. No more fans the rest of spring training. It wouldn't shock me if we get that for, I don't know, a week or so from now.
Speaking of baseball, did you see what Joey Votto said yesterday?
No.
He was asked about what his thoughts were about removing the reporters from the clubhouse.
Right.
And you had mentioned, you and I had talked about, the players would love this. And
I think a lot of them would like it. I think the overwhelming majority, 70+%, would go, oh, yeah, if we want to make this full-time, I'm all for it.
Right. But he was asked if a guy who covers the Reds for the Athletics asked him if he would welcome this ban on a permanent basis. And he said, no. I definitely think I'd say a vast majority of the stories involve nuance, emotion, personal relationships. Even if they're incorrect, a perception of how someone reacted or how a player reacted can be told through facial expressions, getting to know that person and tone. I think that if you don't have that on a daily basis, you don't get to share those insights, and frankly, most fans don't care about the balls and strikes and runs and wins. Well, I guess wins, but runs. They care about the person. They want to feel like they're close to the performer in any sport. I think anyone in the media is the bridge that connects the athlete with the public, and without that close proximity, I don't personally think you get that human component. That is a hell of a insightful answer from an athlete, and it's what you've always contended, David.
I think it's the minority view, though.
I'm sure it is, but it doesn't matter if it's the minority view. The more views like that come out, the better it is for the media long run, because they need the Joey Vottos of the world.
He's a veteran player, too, so he's been around for a while, and he's developed many of these relationships. He's also been fortunate enough to have played all his career in one city here. So that's interesting.
Very insightful for an athlete.
We polled the teams, and we're going to have 26-man rosters beginning this year, but if we go by the old numbers, 25, I don't think more than 10. I think it'd be no more than 40% that would be like, yeah, let's go back to the old ways with the reporters kind of roaming around here.
Yeah, 1 in 5.
You think even 5. Okay.
1 in 5, David.
Miller and Moulton. Craig Brush, president and general manager of the Florida Everblades, and obviously knows everything that's going on at Hertz Arena. We will talk to him about, a little bit about the Blades, but we're also going to talk to him about the coronavirus and whether or not it's impacting how they're going about their business over at Hertz Arena and with the hockey team. He will join us next. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us on this Hump Day edition on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
All right, so the Clippers won last night. They beat a bad team, but they are now officially 9-0 when they're healthy. You get to a point in the NBA in the second half, it's check boxes time. Size, check. Experience, check. Championship winning coach, check. It's the best team in the league.
Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
King Roofing's long-standing reputation gives you the peace of mind that they'll be here if and when a warranty repair is
comment
needed.
we just
There are
got.
some
I mean,
great roofing
imagine
companies in
if you're
Naples,
running
but
a
there are also
business
storm chasers.
and you
They
just
set
have the
up shop out for a
misfortune
storm,
of
and
somebody
they leave
comes
a few
through
years
your
later
restaurant
when
or
the
what
leads
have
dry
you,
up, leaving
and
homeowners in a
they
bind
end
when
up
there's a
testing
warranty
positive
issue.
for the
Stay local and
coronavirus.
call
I
King
mean,
Roofing today.
you can understand why the public would not then come to your business for the next few weeks, and that could cost you
your business.
Yeah.
At a restaurant, David, they could shut down.
I know, and it's just dumb luck, and it's unfortunately it would be awful luck. You just
Well,
see
I mean,
that little-
in the Sue Happy world we're in, like what, like this TSA guy, the guy, who's he work for?
Well,
I mean, that's I am
it's why-
fascinated by how this is going to play
It's
out.
why I think the NCAA is going to go the no fans route, if for no other reason than the lawyers are going to say to Mark Emmert, "You do not bring this upon us."
Feel at home.
It ain't
Come in
worth
and
it.
Unwind. Enjoy an exquisite
It
glass
ain't
of wine
worth
or
it.
perhaps a handcrafted
We're
beer
getting
with
the
your
TV
perfectly
money.
charred steak.
We'll be
Afternoon
fine.
Or evening, anytime during the
We can
basketball
pay our
tournament,
bills.
It's
We're
going to
good.
be a wonderful experience
Right.
at Chard. Jimmy P's Chard on South US 41 in Bonita Springs. Jimmy P's Butcher Shop on Old US 41.
The other
in
thing
Bonita
that's not a
Springs.
good look,
Online at
maybe we'll say this on the air,
Welcome to Jimmy
that's
P's
not a
Chard.
good look
Stop
for
in
the
today and tell
NCAA.
'em
You've
Jimmy
got
sent you.
university presidents
Now it's
shutting down universities.
Thank you.
And or moving classes for the rest of the semester online. You know, students. And what does the NCAA say?
Student athlete.
There we go. But for the student
Who they don't pay,
athletes, right.
who they're going to use, and I'll tell you what, if I were a student athlete right now, I might be making some of these points.
$279 per month. Over 1,100 Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. Qualifying purchases with zero
Can't
down
believe she's
and
still
no
here.
monthly payments till September.
Must not be
That's
trying.
right. Zero down
No.
and no monthly payments till September. And exclusive of that offer, Galliana Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, in Fort Myers will give you $6,000 minimum for any trade in any condition, running or not, at Galliana Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
16th state today. Wager on sports. 32% of the country. Sports are now open for gambling or gambling
live
business.
between Port Charlotte
And they've got the yellow are the ones that they say are coming this year. Florida, Louisiana. What? Oh, this is from Action Network. David, look at this. I pull this up all the time. You go to Action Network. There's their little graph.
No money out of pocket. But you only have
Projected.
a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
239-283-2013.
Florida, under consideration
It's a free,
by
no
legislature.
obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you.
Right,
Call
because
us
of that Dan Wallach, and we could the guy. We've talked to him about coming to Sports Law Guy. I think we've had him on the show.
283-2013.
He expects lawmakers to
Wilson
approve
Brothers
sports
Roofing
betting in
specializes
2020
the claims
without the
process.
need for
We have
citizen
experts standing
referendum.
by. We get claims approved. 239-283.
They backdoored this. The same way they're going to backdoor weed, because there's the same thing they can do for recreational marijuana in this
Are
state.
you a first-time
There's
shooter
a
with
backdoor
lot of
way to do
questions
this,
and
and
need
there's so
training?
much
The Alamo Gun Range of Naples is here for you
lined
with
around
our
them.
clean, comfortable,
Literally.
and
The
relaxing
place on- there's a
atmosphere
place on
and
Friday
a staff
that
that's
sells it.
certified and trained to provide you with the answers
No,
and
there's a
training you
place
need
on
to
Friday
get
that
started. You'll feel
has
right at
deals
home. The
on
Alamo
the actual
Gun Range
weed.
of Naples.
David, they're lined up
Naples'
around the door
premier
before they
indoor
open.
gun range and firearms
Because it's 10% off
superstore.
on Friday. It's Flower Friday.
AlamoRange.com.
I am telling you, go past Liberty Health Center every Friday morning. They're lined up
Subscribe
around
to
the
the daily podcasts.
Yeah.
Now back to Miller and Moulton. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton at 7:30 on this Wednesday morning. Hope your week's going okay so far. Thanks for spending part of your day with us here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. You can chime in via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 249-8167, 249-8167. Never did I think weeks ago that we would be spending this much time talking about the coronavirus.
You know I didn't.
No. And I will say, your natural reactions and your change in over the course of the last 5 to 7 days, I think is indicative of also what is going on in this country.
Yeah, I make as much fun and have as much fun as is humanly possible up until the point when you can't do it anymore. And right now you can't, David.
He is the president and general manager of the Florida Everblades and obviously is intimately involved in everything going on over at Hertz Arena. He is Craig Brush, and he's kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. Craig, good morning. Thanks for your time. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Have you ever even had to deal with anything like this before? I mean, even going back to your playing days, back in college. I mean, did you ever play in an empty arena? Did you ever, anything at all, your years of coaching, other parts of the country? I mean, does this bring back any recollection of anything for you in your playing and professional career?
The only thing I can remember was going into an arena in Detroit and finding all the lobby stuffed with people because the referee had thrown all the fans out.
Is that one of your son's games that you were coaching, Craig?
No, it was a tournament, and so none of my kids were involved in it, but the fans were a little overzealous, so the referee had enough.
And man, the concession lines were long.
And Craig, the only thing that I can recall like this, and it's very different, but I guess in certain ways similar, is when Carolina used to come down for training camp, and I mean, we were all in a Wednesday morning staff meeting or whatever day it was when on 9/11, and all of a sudden
Tuesday,
we went to Tuesday was our weekly meeting, and I mean, we went from a weekly meeting going, all right, we got Carolina coming. What are we going to do? And very different set of circumstances, obviously, but that's the only thing that I can think of, Craig, since the arena's been here that even would remotely compare to what's going on right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that was a sad day too. This, of course, is a lot different because nobody really knows what to do with this in terms of having games of any kind.
Well, who has been in contact with you? How much talk is there, whether it's with the ECHL, with NHL folks, or with Lee County officials? I mean, you are the largest indoor venue in the county. Just if you can provide us any update as to how you and your staff are working with other folks to figure out what the best course of action is.
We're getting our information, quite frankly, from the media. We have had some brief communication from the ECHL. They're monitoring the NHL stance on this. We're looking at organizations like Disney to see what their plans are going to be. I've had conversations with other teams in the league, teams in Florida, more specifically, and right now it's just kind of a wait and see.
And as of right now, there is nothing that has been canceled or postponed to a later date. Any event that is scheduled for Hertz Arena, correct?
That's correct. Yes. Having said that, this doesn't affect us, but we're part of an entertainment group for arenas, and I found out yesterday that the Zac Brown Band has canceled their tour for 2020, and Pearl Jam has canceled their spring tour.
Right. We reported that, but those are the only two as of right now. A lot of festivals and thing. I guess, Adam Sandler's still going off. That's tomorrow. Blades are finally on the road for a little bit because you've only played about 70 home games this month.
Or
so
are
it
you
seems.
home? Or are you home Saturday?
We're home Saturday.
Okay.
All right.
That was my bad.
Yeah.
So it's affiliation night on Saturday. But
that's right. Yeah.
But they really will have to play a couple road games here. Okay.
Well, if you look, we played a lot of road games in January.
No, you did. You were gone. You went on your world tour in January. Yes.
Yeah, and then we're on a world tour in March. We only have like 5 home games in March or something. It's a very poor schedule this year.
If the NHL takes a certain course of action, like the only other thing I could think of when there was the tragedy in Columbus about 15, 17 years ago and the teenager was killed by the hockey puck, and that's how we, now have netting at all these arenas for the hockey games. And obviously that came from the NHL, and then it went all the way down quickly, within like a day. If the NHL takes a certain course of action, do you think it will put a lot of pressure on the A and the E to follow suit?
Certainly it will. I think that everybody wants to do the safe thing, but there has to be some reason with this too. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I don't feel any fear at this stage, and maybe I'm naive, but I'm doing everything I normally do. I'm going to the game. We play in Greenville and Jacksonville. I'm headed up there for those games on Thursday and Friday. I guess I'm washing my hands a lot more than I ever did before. I'm fist bumping. I'm doing all the things that have been recommended. But the results at this point, to me, and this is just me speaking, indicate that this is something. I'm in the danger group, if you will, in terms of my age. But you got to keep living your life too. So I think there is a bit of an overreaction, and but again, I'm just talking personally. People should make their own decisions for what they want to do.
Well, no doubt there. And Craig, I'm kind of to the point where you are. When Orlando shuts down, then we can all take a little bit more notice. But the international cities, to me, are where I'm. That when Disney says we need to shut our doors, and you don't, Craig, then I'd say you did something wrong. But until then, I'm on your side, man.
I'm glad you clarified that and said Disney, because for a minute I thought you were talking the Solar Bears.
Right. Well, no, they've already been shut down, haven't they? But just let's get to the important matters, Craig. Since you are leaving with the team on for Greenville on Thursday, who's using the suite Thursday night?
Oh, that one. I'll have to check on that.
Wow.
I'm way past those days, but I had to throw it out there. Craig, appreciate it. I know it was a little early for you. Okay, go. Sorry.
And I just asked, by the way, the team's doing very well once again, and the trading deadline has come and gone. Since Saturday's affiliation night, has life been any different dealing with Nashville than all those years dealing with Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, was an adjustment at first to getting to know people, but they've been great to work with, and actually not right now, but they sign more players to send to us, and injuries have resulted in some call-ups. Our problem, as is always a bane of our existence, has been that I think last week we had 9 players with 7 different teams. So they cherry pick your best players, and our coaching staff has done a great job, and we filled a number of holes and have been able to continue to win and put some pressure on South Carolina to see who can get in the top spot, and hopefully we get the majority of these players back for the playoffs. But we hadn't had many call-ups at all in the first half of the season, and then there was just a deluge in the last few weeks.
Feel good about your group if you get them all back?
Well, yeah, I mean, South Carolina is formidable. As you know, we play them at the end of the month up there for 2 games, and that probably will determine who finishes first. We've had more success in their building than in our own so far this year. We beat them 3 out of 4 times up there. They beat us 3 out of 4 here. So it's going to be a rivalry, and it could be one of those years where the team that comes out of the South is the team that wins.
Well, congratulations on your success so far, and if there are any changes with anything, please let us know. We'll get the word out.
Okay.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Craig Brush,
bye now.
President and General Manager of the Florida Everblades, and obviously intimately involved in anything and everything going on at Hertz Arena. And as of right now, no change. Nothing's been canceled. And Adam Sandler's going on as scheduled tomorrow night. The hockey game on Saturday. And as Craig said, between the NHL, the ECHL, and he's paying attention closely to what's going on at Disney.
Makes the most sense to me. I mean, if you live in Florida.
If they're open, he's like, I feel pretty
right.
Okay
if Disney, Universal, and Busch Gardens are open,
then
I think it's, and I do, and until they close them, I don't know how you can close other things in our state. I really don't.
I understand. But
I mean, it's a small world there. I know the ride's not open, but
you want me to start humming it?
No.
But it's why I asked the question, though. Will there be just the pressure to comply if the NHL takes a certain course of action? I mean, how awkward will it be if you're running the Everblades and the NHL, for whatever reason, makes a decision, we're not going to have fans on our games, and yet Disney's open? I mean, you're running the Florida Everblades, and maybe you're getting a call from the ECHL going, well, the NHL's made this decision, and you're going, Disney's open. I mean, it's an awkward spot.
Well, it's why even more so with Disneyland in Anaheim. I mean, that's the one where I'm like, we're shutting everything down in California, but we're Disney World or Disneyland, bring them. Let's go.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks to Craig Brush for joining us on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm Hotline. Local people, local practice, local knowledge. They're accessible, approachable, and your legal questions answered for free at goldberg-law.com. Miller and Moulton, today was the day when. Coming up, Seth Everett's in about 40 minutes. Thanks so much for being with us on this Hump Day edition on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Drive home with the Doug Gottlieb Show.
What'd you think? Live by the 3, die by the 3 wasn't a cliche, and the Rockets missed way too many threes. Somewhere Daryl Morey is tweeting out that people are unfair in their critique. Look, I wouldn't even say it's about the 3. It's about the fact that they don't play or didn't play any defense. The Clippers, it was a layup fest.
Doug Gottlieb, afternoons at 3 on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
For over 20 years, the Good Feet store has been helping people with foot pain get back to doing what they love without their feet getting in the way. Call 552-FEET or visit us at the Good Feet store in Naples or our newest location in Fort Myers.
The Dear Happy Show. Brought to you by Hardee's. We've got Melissa on the line.
I don't know what there else is that I can say.
It's my only day to sleep in.
Well, break it to them early that they're not going to make the majors.
But I don't want to crush their dreams.
That's fair. Then why don't you swing by Hardee's on the way and get the new BFC Frisco breakfast sandwich with a crispy wheel of cheese inside so everyone's morning can be super.
Okay.
Call in next time at 1-833-HI-HAPPY. Available for a limited time only at participating Hardee's restaurants. Feed your happy. The Dear Happy Show. Brought to you by Hardee's. Eric, you're on with Happy.
Nope. Hey, Happy. I'm applying for a mortgage and I'm debating a 15-year or a 30-year rate.
Forget about the property ladder. Get on the burger ladder.
What?
The new BFC Angus Thick Burger from Hardee's has a crispy wheel of cheese on top.
You're right. As long as I have a good burger, I'll always have a place to call home.
Exactly. Call in next time at 1-833-HI-HAPPY. Available for a limited time only at participating Hardee's restaurants. Feed your happy.
Ever purchased an online item and either it doesn't fit, has missing parts, or became damaged? Trying to save a few bucks can end up costing more. My Shower Door is a locally owned and operated family business that measures, manufactures, and installs our own brand of frameless shower doors right here in Southwest Florida. And we were just named Lee County's Manufacturer of the Year. With almost 80,000 shower doors installed, we have the experience and expertise. Plus, estimates are always free. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
If you've been denied Social Security benefits, here's something you need to know. The law firm you choose makes a big difference.
In fact, Morgan & Morgan wins more than the national average in recovering Social Security for clients that were denied. That means that when you hire our lawyers, you have a better chance of recovery than with the average lawyer. And that's a really big deal. If you were denied Social Security benefits, call us. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Dial Pound Law on your cell. Pound Law, that's all. Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Come and enjoy the company of NBA All-Stars, including Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. VIP tickets give you the premium contact, including autographs and personal photo ops. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Warrior-centric Healthcare Foundation that provides necessary healthcare needs to military and veteran communities. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill, 8990 Fontana del Sol Way, Naples. Don't miss this opportunity to be with NBA All-Stars and Hall of Famers. It's the Legends of Basketball Meet and Greet. For more information and to get your exclusive ticket now, go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
This thing's like saying our government.
Welcome to the Alamo Gun Range of Naples. You are specially invited to the Alamo's 5th anniversary sales event this Friday through Sunday. There'll be dozens of manufacturers' reps on site to answer questions. Big savings on accessories, firearms, range memberships, and more. Freebies from the manufacturers, food, contests, prizes. You'll even have the chance to win one of 3 firearms that will be raffled off this Friday through Sunday. The Alamo Gun Range of Naples. Naples' premier indoor gun range and firearms superstore. AlamoRange.com.
Contact Miller and Moulton anytime.
Call me Daddy.
Save the Williamson Brothers Marine text and talk line to your contacts.
Who's got it better than us?
239-249-8167.
We are Fox Sports.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
Yeah. Don't know what
this.
What to tell you here,
but you're live.
"12 minutes before 8 o'clock, Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Some programming notes tonight, FGCU women's basketball. Fans are very much allowed in. They sent out a press release late yesterday saying, oh, hey, plenty of good seats available.
Hey, they don't care who you're rooting for. As long as you buy a ticket, they'd prefer you root for the Eagles.
And the Eagles are hosting the Ospreys of North Florida in an ASUN semifinal. Our coverage begins 6:45 tonight. Tip a little after 7. FGCU basketball on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, presented by the Kelleher firm. And our Big Ten tournament coverage begins noon on Thursday with a little Michigan-Rutgers game.
Playing for seeding in the big tournament.
That's right.
But now it is time for
Miller and Moulton's Today Was the Day When, giving you the history of today's date so you're a beacon of useless knowledge around the office.
Useless, but a lot of fun to talk about.
This is Today Was the Day When, Fox Sports Radio and foxsportsfm.com.
I mean, almost all sports today, David. No history. Not a whole. This is for those that want the nitty gritty.
Well, when you were off last week, I stayed to just sports.
Good for you.
And I did the good, bad, and ugly for the first time.
Good for you.
All these years that you've taken off, and I have not done the good, bad, and ugly.
Huh. We're that close to making it the David Moulton show, huh?
No.
Because I'm fine sleeping in.
No, but thanks to Jero, all right, he sends a really good condensed.
He does.
Good, bad, and ugly.
He does. All right, 1892, the first public basketball game played where else? Springfield, Massachusetts. No word on whether they allowed fans. Sounds like the fact that it was public, they did. 1912, the first Stanley Cup Challenge game to be played in 3 20-minute periods, formerly 30-minute halves. Quebec beats Moncton 9-3 on way to series sweep. 1917, the first NHL championship game ever played, because the Stanley Cup was really more like a college thing before that in Canada. The Toronto Arenas beat the Montreal Canadiens 7-3 in the first of a 2-game set. 1941, Bronco Nagurski beats Ray Steele to become the wrestling champ. the Hall of Fame football player, went wrestling like another Hall of Fame football player is about to, soon to be Hall of Fame football player is about to. Gronk in negotiations with the WWE.
WWE, yes.
Don't know how they didn't make the starting five. LPGA Titles Holders Championship was held at the Augusta Country Club today in 1956.
Because he hasn't signed yet, that's why.
Louise Suggs wins her third by 1 over Patty Berg. 1958, we told you yesterday that the president of the Dodgers said players are going to wear batting helmets. He was right. Starting this season in 58, American League batters are required to wear helmets. Today in 1971, we're listening to a little bit of the Doors because Jim Morrison leaves from Paris, as he said, to reorient himself emotionally and creatively. It was really to avoid the jail sentence given to him in Miami. He never returned to the United States. A year later on this date, Neil Young's Harvest hits number 1 in America, taking Don McLean's spot from American Pie. 1986, Mike Bossy becomes the first NHLer to score 50 goals in 9 straight seasons.
It's amazing.
He was pretty good.
Unbelievable. What a sniper. What a sniper. His career cut short shortly thereafter with a back injury.
Yeah. In 1988, today in 1988, the British pound note ceases to be legal tender. It's replaced by the 1 pound coin. Goodness, I wish that would happen in our country. And it won't. 1997, Paul McCartney is knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, knighted is way better than like the Presidential Medal of Freedom, right? I mean, that's our highest honor to a civilian, right?
Right.
I mean, you'd rather be knighted.
You'd rather be Sir Paul?
Oh, hell yes. What? They don't even call you anything with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. When do they bring that up? At a tea time at your club championship? Met Nick Faldo, David, right? You've met him a couple of times? What'd you call him?
Sir Nick.
Damn right you did.
Every time.
And if you met Paul McCartney, what would you call him?
I did. I shook his hand in Jacksonville before the Super Bowl. I said, Sir Paul, nice to meet you.
Much better. I mean, it's the one thing there's many things they don't have. I mean, we kicked their ass a long time ago, but let's be honest. The knight beats the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I would agree with that. There's something cool about being called Sir.
If you were born today, you share your birthday with Herm McFarland. Doesn't mean much to any of you. He was a Major League Baseball outfielder, but he is credited with the first Grand Slam in American League history. Born today in Des Moines, Iowa in 1870. Rupert Murdoch, born today in 1931. Former White House correspondent Sam Donaldson.
Wait. Can I take a guess? 88.
No, he would have been. He's 90. No, 80. You're right. 86. Sorry, had to do bad math there.
1934.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doc Ellis, claimed to have pitched a no-hitter while on acid. Born today in 1945.
Saw Sam Donaldson do a hit on one of the cable channels a few days ago. His eyebrows are as big as a raccoon. Unbelievable.
Cesar Geronimo, just because I wanted to say the name, born today in 1948. Bobby McFerrin, almost played that for everybody today. I couldn't do it, but I almost threw out a little Don't Worry, Be Happy, just because it seemed appropriate.
I'll tell you what, we could probably use it today.
It seemed appropriate. Jerry Zucker, one of the Zucker brothers, they did Airplane, The Naked Gun, born today in 1950.
Those weren't funny.
Not at all. Johnny Knoxville, born today in 1941. Elton Brand, turning 41 years old today. And Anthony Davis is 27 years old.
I'll tell you what, the Sixers outside shooting is going to make Elton feel a lot older than that. Watching Ben Simmons shoot threes must make him feel at least 50.
No doubt there. And that is today was a day when? On March the 11th.
Miller and Moulton, 249-8167 is the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 249-8167. Many of you commenting about, well, whether or not the coronavirus has impacted anything that you are planning to do in these next few weeks.
Certainly isn't affecting this gentleman's plan who just texted, I'm going to Disney World this weekend. Don't tell them to close.
Well, we're not. Okay, we're just pointing out the fact that they're not. And
living in Florida, if we start shutting other things down before Disney shuts down, It doesn't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying.
It is a legitimate question at a press conference. You could say, listen, I understand why you made the decision that you made, but Disney is open, all right? Can you understand if people think that maybe you're going a little too far? So now I will say, Mark, if they ever make the decision to close...
Oh, then everything... Put it this way. If Disney shuts down, if they were to shut down, how do you keep airport? I mean, I am with Craig. We had Craig Brush on. He thinks we're overreacting a little bit. That's me personally. I think the same thing, but I'm not I was making fun last week. I was having a little fun with some people's paranoia. I'm not doing that anymore. I get that people have legitimate concerns and legitimate fears. I do not have those, but I understand why people do.
And also, it's very different if you're running a league. I mean, the NCAA, the NBA, the NHL. What do you do here? Because you have legal ramifications.
And as you have pointed out, schools are closing across the country. They're going to virtual classrooms. My son's on spring break at East Carolina. The governor of North Carolina just declared a state of emergency. I'm like, Jake, I can't imagine you're going to have class next week. And if you do, it's going to be online.
Now, a lot of state of emergencies are so that you can get federal funding. But, yes, it does sound, very serious.
UCLA, Florida, Vanderbilt. The list goes on, Harvard. And it's going to continue.
Right. Ivy League.
Harvard closed their dorms and sent people out.
Right. Sent them home. You must leave. You must leave now. Correct. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations.
Nick and Sean are going to picket arenas that have canceled games.
Well, problems with tile roofs.
Go get them, boys.
Go to Cleveland. First stop, Cleveland.
Many homeowners are just now feeling the
canceled games?
Oh, no, that don't let fans in.
Go to Cleveland.
Now, whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured
Mac.
tiles.
Oh, yeah.
Mac in Cleveland.
On borrowed time. Now, tile roofs, by nature of their design, are susceptible to lift in powerful storms like hurricanes. When this occurs, your tile underlayment can be compromised, but you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now, with Cathedral Roofing Innovations, you get a great roofing company to inspect your roof for any damage, and just because you don't have leaks doesn't mean you don't have issues. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. They are the tile experts in Naples, and they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor. The Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Is your pool a pain to operate? Automation is the answer. Use your phone to turn on your spa, and it'll be warm when you get home. Free on-site evaluations. We're a family company. And for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 105.9 Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com.
I got to give Clay Travis credit. He doesn't just double down. He doubles and triples down. Totally.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it.
I just threw something different on to see if it was every channel.
Moulton.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Oh, I like it's up to you now.
Yes.
It's up to you.
The Penn women's coach was
Best
irate.
local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
Your life. Couple minutes past 8 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Seth Everett will join us near the bottom of the hour in the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm hotline for his weekly chat. 249-8167 is how you can chime in with us via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 249-8167. Some of the things we've discussed so far on the show, if you're just joining us, the MAC has, well, a restricted attendance policy, Mark, i.e. they're not going to allow any fans in to watch their men's and women's basketball tournaments this weekend in Cleveland. That's after Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, quote, recommended, unquote. And the reason I put that in quotes is he did not dictate. He did not tell the college conferences, the NCAA, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Columbus Crew. He did not tell them what to do. He recommended that they play games not in front of spectators. The MAC said, okay, we'll abide by your recommendation. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Columbus Crew have said, we'll take it under advisement. We've got games coming up here the next few days, and we're going to let everybody in. So, okay, all right. See where we go from here. It's a recommendation right now. I am curious, does the governor of the state, I would think he would, right? Don't you think a governor would have the power if that recommendation turns into an order?
Well, I thought the mayor of Seattle banned public gatherings.
Anything more than 250 people can't have them.
Right.
It's an interesting number to pick. Once again, you're sitting around in a meeting. Love to know how you came up with 250.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Everybody grab a dart, throw it at the Bard, and whoever comes closest to the bull, you get to pick the number. I mean, come on, David. I'm not trying to be a smartass here.
I'm handing out a piece of paper. Write down what number, fold them up, put them in the hat.
And we'll take a median, or what are we going to do here?
Look it out. 250.
Or an average. Are we taking a median or an average?
The number is 250. The NCAA, Mark, continues to assess, once again, more air quotes, continues to assess what they're going to do here and says they will make a decision in the coming days. Yeah, no kidding. Selection Sunday, 6 o'clock this Sunday. My guess is they'll make that decision before 6 o'clock Sunday. Going to go out on a limb.
The show starts at 6, right? Does it actually come out?
And they're going right away.
The best part about the Michigan State-Ohio State game is the moment it became 6:01, they put the 6 days, 23 hours, and 50. I'm like, that. Come on here.
Look at that. Remember, the governor of Ohio has recommended that people play not in front of spectators. You got the first 4 in Dayton, and then you've got the first and second round men's and women's NCAA tournament games that are in Cleveland. You want genuine outrage? Go to the Philadelphia Inquirer online. They got a hold of the men's and women's basketball coaches at Penn.
And I don't know if any of the other coaches jumped on board the way the Penn's women's coach did. When I saw that quote, I went, get him. Go get him. Because I'm sorry, when I saw the announcement, I freaked out yesterday. I'm like, are you joking?
The Ivy League announced yesterday that they are canceling their basketball tournaments. Now, the interesting part, first off, for the longest time, the Ivy League didn't have a conference tournament. The regular season champions went. But I think, 2-3 years ago, they had it for the first time. And now, people have adapted quickly. And I actually love what the Ivy League has done. Everybody doesn't get in. They only put the top 4 in. That's it. So essentially, you got to finish in the top half of your conference. They, once again, putting more value on the regular season. Only the top 4 make it. But think about it. They canceled their tournament. Well, it's not nearly as big as everybody else's conference.
It's 2 games.
Well, it's 3. 2 semifinals and a final, and then on each side. So you're still only talking 6 games total for both tournaments.
Right.
And it's done literally in a 48-hour period of time. I think it's Friday, Sunday, in which it was supposed to be played. I know the men's tournament was going to be in Massachusetts. I don't know if the women's tournament, where that site was going to be, if it was the same one or another one, but Penn was going to be in both.
Right. And I mean, I know no one cares about Ivy League. Yale seems to be the best team, not only in the league. They were 11-3, but Harvard was 10-4. Correct. And I thought they won that game late to win the regular season championship.
Yeah, Harvard's a very good team.
Right. I mean, they both won over 20 games.
Yeah, right. And the other thing is, unlike in past years where you knew that, hey, you got to win the league to get in. There is no postseason tournament. Well, now when you've got a postseason tournament, you could do things. You could sit a guy or a gal for a game and say, hey, we need you for the conference tournament. If we're the 1 seed or the 2 or the 2 versus the 3 or whatever. I mean, we know we're going to, on the women's side, you're going to have to beat Princeton. And on the men's side, you knew you were going to have to beat Yale and or Harvard.
By the way, some gambler just chimed in on Twitch because there's no way you know this information unless you gamble. Because I don't think we have Harvard alum listening. I just don't. But he said Harvard beat Yale twice. So here you are. You lost the conference by a game. The team that's number 1, you've beaten twice. You feel like you can beat them again.
And they're going. The Yale men and the Princeton women are the 2 regular season champions, so they are going to represent the Ivy League. And what Mark and I both wondered was, we get if you would come out and just say, hey, we're going to play it safe, and there's not going to be any fans. And I would have said, hey, good for the conference for getting 3 days out ahead of this, so that this way, if anybody, friends and family, were making travel plans, they now know, hey, don't have to. Go to NBCSN and watch them, because I think they've got the Ivy League. And there you go. But they canceled it entirely. They didn't just say, because there's been some hockey games in the Northeast lately that have been played before.
And I think San Jose's played, or is planning on playing games in front of no fans.
Well, remember, the county announced 2 days ago that they're going to have to do one of 3 things.
Play a road game or play in front of no fans.
Or go to a neutral site out of our county and take your chances if you want to sell tickets there. But, yeah, if you want to play in your home arena, it's you and security and the concessions people. And we're not going to sell a whole lot of concessions.
By the way, I mean, obviously, the TV boom from this could be big. I mean, the more people that stay in and don't go out, sports bars are going to get completely shut out again for the first round of the tournament. But have you seen some of the, I mean, this may be more you and I than everybody else, but you mentioned this yesterday. North Carolina played essentially a play-in game for the ACC tournament.
Correct.
And Antoine Staley, who's been on our show a bunch, he tweets out, I can't believe that North Carolina is playing in a first-round game.
Thank you!
And I responded to him. He said, I can't believe I'm watching North Carolina play a first-round game. And I responded, I can't believe I can't watch North Carolina play a first-round game because I don't get the ACC network. And, I mean, so just for the record, the games were on the ACC network yesterday.
Correct. Carolina beat Vod Tech and Pitt beat Wake.
I'm going to get off the coronavirus and talk a little college hoop because we're kind of talking both here. Larry Scott, the
Pac-12?
Pac-12 commissioner.
Right.
Who should have been fired a long time ago.
Goodness.
Have you seen the Pac-12 TV schedule for their tournament?
Outside of Pac-12 network, I don't know where you can find these games.
Well, I'm glad that you say that because you're right. Pac-12 network is the key network to see these games. But what they did is beyond dumb. they have this set up that basically the round 1, all Pac-12.
Right.
Quarters, all Pac-12, but the late game is on FS1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they set this up that they're going to put their number 3 seed in that slot at 11:30 p.m. So why you wouldn't want Oregon, UCLA, 1 and 2 in the conference. No, Arizona State gets the nationally televised game. Now you go to the semis on Friday, where once again the winner of the Arizona State game is for sure on Fox Sports 1, FS1, against the UCLA Game 3 winner. And then the final will be on Fox Sports 1. But there is a chance that if the number 1 seed were to get beat by USC, if Oregon loses to USC in the semis, that the number 1 seed in the Pac-12 will not have a game on national television in the entire conference tournament. I mean, it is the most inept conference in the country. They don't deserve any money. They deserve everything they're getting because this guy's a fool.
He has done a very bad job. It is amazing that he continues to hold on to power. But it is in the hands of the, I believe, university presidents. I don't even think it's the ADs. But anyway, so, we're only talking a few people here. And 1 or 2 people could change everything, but he's got enough votes, and he keeps power. And it is a league that in the big sports is falling behind. And it's a shame, too, because in basketball, I've contended for a few years now. I think their basketball's pretty darn good. I think they get a bad rap. The one thing, and I said this to Andy Enfield last offseason, I go, hey, I know you guys every now and then get to chime in with the league and throw in some ideas. You guys got to pick one of those, ACC, Big Ten. You got to find a conference. Challenge them. I said the SEC Big 12 thing has worked. I go, it's, they found the off weekend in January. There's, without football, it's the weekend in between conference championship games and the Super Bowl. They've put some really sexy matchups together.
What are they going to do it against? The Big East?
Well, yeah, that's it. I said,
and that's all that's left.
But I said, in a way, though, that's great because what is that? That's the New York and Philly markets. I go, you'll get coverage. You'll get attention. I go, you'll get a network to show the games. Why? You're grabbing New York. I go, think about it. One of you every year.
Who carries the Big East?
Yeah. Well, and Fox.
Right.
Right.
And they've got Pac-12 deals already.
I said to Andy, I go, Andy, every year volunteer to go on the road. Just alternate between St. John's and Villanova. I go, your game will be nationally televised in a prime slot every time.
And it won't hurt recruiting ever.
Not at all.
I mean, all you got to do is tell those young men, you can come back with me to SoCal. You don't have to stay here next winter. So I'm with you 100% that would be a terrific idea.
How can the Ivy League, by the way, cancel basketball? And I got a text from going, lacrosse is playing this week.
Right. Right. They're playing their other sports. I don't understand. I would be so bent if I were one of those kids.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. You've got time to reverse your decision. It's Wednesday. The tournament wasn't supposed to start till Friday. Honestly, just say, you know what? Upon further review, we're not going to allow any fans, but we're going to play the games. I mean, honestly, what? So 6 teams missed out on a practice? Honestly, that's the only inconvenience here, Mark. The Ivy League could turn around today and say, you know what? We made a mistake. All right. We don't want fans at the games. We want it to be as safe as possible. But you know what? We don't have to cancel these. All right. Upon further review, we could play these. I mean, if you think about it, Princeton women and Yale men practiced yesterday. They got the good news. They were in the tournament. They had a practice of some kind yesterday. The other 3 men's teams and the other 3 women's teams didn't practice because their seasons were effectively ended. In all likelihood. If you announced it right now and said, hey, we've reconsidered, they'd come back to practice today. That's it. Really? You cost 6 teams to practice? You're not inconveniencing any fans because they found out yesterday there was nothing to go to.
Right.
Right. So you could reverse
the only tough one would be the Harvard kids who they've kicked out of school.
Well, that's true. Some of them got in their cars and drove off. It may take Tommy. I don't know if Tommy gets them back by dinner today. Okay, but
that's
still.
The only thing I've got. That's all I've got, David.
My guess is he'd be able to get him back pretty quickly. But anyway, let's talk some football for a second. The Dolphins now have 14 draft picks. 14.
They are going to be a wheeling and dealing machine come draft time.
There's only 7 rounds to this draft. It needs to be pointed out. So they're averaging 2 picks a round. They got 2 compensatory picks yesterday. They got a 4th rounder and they got a 7th rounder. Patriots got the most compensatory picks. They got 4, including 2 third rounders. Broncos, Texans, Vikings, Giants, Eagles, Seahawks all got 3 compensatory picks. What should be pointed out here is that the whole compensatory picks thing was, certain teams were going to be places where guys didn't want to play and they were going to leave via free agency. And this was a way to help out, in a way, the lesser teams and organizations. Yeah, that's not what's happening here. Look at how well some of these organizations are being run, Mark, because you get compensatory picks when you lose free agents. All right? Of the teams that got 3 or more compensatory picks, look how many have made the playoffs. Patriots, Seahawks, Eagles, Vikings, Texans. All made the playoffs, all got 3 or more compensatory picks.
And by the way, since they've started this, do you know what team has had the most compensatory picks? The Baltimore Ravens, who is generally a team that is a playoff team.
Denver and the Giants were the 2 non-playoff teams that got 3 compensatory picks. For the record, Miami gets a 4th and 7th rounder to take their 12 picks and make it 14. The Bucs got a 4th rounder, so they got an extra pick.
And, I remember a talk with Orlando Elzagari a while back, and he just said, look, they're going to go very Patriot. They're going to go, when we say, that's a lot of guys that are going to come up 3 picks. You're going to lose them all the same year. You can't afford them. Look what's going on with Dallas. He goes, they're going to be like the Patriots. You're going to see them moving. And I already think they have to move with, I already believe that they've got to try to trade with Washington to get Tua.
You think they have to go up to 2?
To assure themselves of getting Tua? Yes.
I don't, because I don't think the Redskins are going to trade. Because I don't think the Redskins want to not get Chase Young out of this. I think you have to go up to 3 to assure yourself of Tua.
Well, there's still the chance that somebody could make the Redskins an offer they couldn't refuse. And that's why I would start with Washington. I believe your 95% of me says you're right. But there's still the chance that somebody makes that offer, and I couldn't be in the Miami room and go to 3 and have this deal done and see Tua taken at 2 and live with myself. So I would just go up to 2 and get him. I would make no doubt. If that's who I want, I've got the resources, go get him.
And I'm usually do whatever you take guy, and since you've got all these picks over the next 3 drafts, but if you're saying they're going to have to make the Redskins an offer they can't refuse, then essentially they're going to want you to make that same offer. And are you prepared to do that? I mean, that's a not just 2 first-round draft picks type thing. That might be 3 ones. That might be 2 ones and multiple 2s. I mean, that's a lot. It is. It's a lot of draft capital. And there is, and I'm a Tua guy. All in on Tua. He does have an injury risk, though, here.
David, I know that. And I'm not arguing the injury. I'm not arguing. All I am saying is if the Miami Dolphins have convinced themselves that they have to take Tua,
right,
then go to 2 and get him and make sure you don't lose him. That is my only point.
So basically then, you would give up whatever it took. Because if they kept asking, which they would, like you said, you have to make them an offer they can't refuse.
It's a hell of a game of poker because how long can you, with the 12 minutes, I mean, I'm doing this, and I'm not joking. I'm like a presidential debate. I am sitting with people at the tables and the phones going, how do we play? I'm acting this out. I'm not, because I would, in a perfect world, try to keep the Redskins stringing along that I'm going to do something and try to say no at the last minute so they can't make a trade, let them go just turn their card in, and then have a deal with Detroit.
Well,
I would be working this. I mean, you're playing a big game of poker.
I understand that, but in theory, you'll know whether or not there's anybody else in the game pretty early on. And if they're not, you're negotiating against yourself.
Then once you believe you're negotiating against yourself, then I think you can back off. I think you are right. You're going to know if Washington's got another suitor for that spot.
I think Detroit, even though both the GM and the head coach have been told that, hey, you got to win this year to some degree, I think they would move down as far as 6. They're at 3. The Dolphins are at 5. The Chargers are at 6. I think they would do a deal with either one of those two franchises. Let them get their quarterback because they can still get a really good, whether it's tackle, whether it's defensive lineman, whether it's Simmons, the linebacker, the corner from Ohio State. They can get arguably the best player at any one of those 4 positions. Offensive tackle, defensive tackle, linebacker, or corner. One of those 4 is still going to be on the board for them at 6. So I think the Lions I would be very surprised if they don't trade down. If they don't play this game and leverage the Dolphins against the Chargers and move down. And the Giants may be stuck, actually, if Detroit plays that game, that they go, well, okay, I guess we stay here and take our best player, whoever we deem that to be. So,
which is the corner from Ohio State because they need him desperately.
Well, who don't they need on defense?
They've got to go defense.
Yeah, they have to go defense for the draft, actually, is what they have to do. No, don't tell me best player on the board because that could be a wide receiver. No. Who's the best defensive player?
They need one of those, too.
They may, but not like they need defense.
They need a tackle. I mean, they need everything.
Well, they've earned this 4th spot in the draft, Mark.
And they've been there consistently.
Well, the last 2-3 years they have. That is for sure. That's why a coach has been fired and the GM's is on the line.
Yeah, the coach that went 9-7. That was the last one they fired in Detroit, right? Caldwell?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Giants coach. No, he's still unemployed. Right. He did 3 winning seasons in 4
Detroit.
years. Right. Went to the playoffs twice. Yeah, I couldn't get rid of him fast enough.
Nope.
Right. Yep. Miller and Moulton. A reminder that the franchise tags in the NFL have been pushed all the way back to Monday. I think that deadline was supposed to be tomorrow. It's been pushed back to Monday. The NFL did that because the NFLPA pushed their vote deadline back from what was supposed to be tomorrow to midnight Saturday, heading into Sunday morning, 11:59 p.m. Saturday. That's when you got to have your votes in. So the players pushed their vote back over 2 days, and the NFL pushed their whole, whether we're going to franchise and or transition tag you, they push that back to Monday. Monday's also the first day that the legal tampering, Mark, that sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? The legal tampering can begin. That's on Monday. And then a week from today, free agency, TB12 can go anywhere he wants. Boy, it's going to be nuts next week. Nuts. About the only thing that could possibly be bigger than March Madness, Tom Brady reaching unrestricted free agency. Think about that. That'll be the full day before March Madness begins. Because I don't count the playing games as like March Madness.
I know.
I mean, I'm in. Don't get me wrong. I'll watch.
St. Patrick's Day. What else are you going to do?
Well, you know me. I'll work. I'll find it. FGC is playing Rutgers in baseball. I'll work. All right. Might have a couple of pops before the game, but I'll work.
I just feel sorry for your board op. Because those games take forever.
Yeah, college baseball's not short.
Ever. They make Yankees Red Sox games look like they're quick.
They can. They are
painstakingly long. That's why college softball is the best college sport there is. It's done in 90 minutes to 2 hours every time.
It's why their ratings are terrific. Absolutely. And when we did the FGCU Florida softball game last week, I did 7 innings. And when it was done, I didn't feel like I'd missed out on anything as a broadcaster. Like, boy, I really wish I had another couple innings to broadcast. I felt like, no, this was a good game. This was entertaining.
Did you call it a rise ball or a raise ball?
Okay. I didn't call it either.
We got to have a little chat.
Well, hey, I've offered you there's a couple more softball games we're going to broadcast.
I'm not driving to Gainesville to broadcast.
No, we got home games we're going to do here coming up. I've told you. You want to call them? I scheduled them for you. I knew you wouldn't go on the road, but I scheduled them for you. Miller and Moulton. Speaking of FGCU broadcast, tonight, the women's basketball team hosting North Florida. ASUN semis. We'll have it for you, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock tip, thanks to the Kelleher firm, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Seth Everett to join us next. Right now, first and second caller win tickets to our Legends event. Meet the Legends, Monday night, Bo Campers. It's actually late in the afternoon. It begins at 4 o'clock on Monday the 16th. Sam Jones, Tiny Archibald, Phil Chenier, Rick Barry. Want a pair of tickets? Be the first or second caller. 249-8167, 249-8167. Our way of saying thanks for listening. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We're simple people.
I'm an idiot.
And being simple means...
What?
You understand what we do.
Wait a minute.
24 hours a day.
There were some moments.
For 19 years straight.
It's a very good time to be alive.
That's where we're at right now.
Hit us up.
Got it going
we give
on.
you the best sports and entertainment talk on your radio.
I'm trying to create a little bit of drama.
Imagine that.
And what I mean by that is...
This is Fox Sports Radio.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local
And you know
Towboat
what?
US companies
I
in
walk on the
Charlotte,
sides
Lee,
of my
Collier
feet,
Coatings
I'll have
are here to
trouble.
help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new member specials are running all year. Call 239-945-1664 for more information, or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
There's a lot of roofing companies, remodeling contractors, home builders, granite and cabinet guys. And then there's Tri-Town Construction, the area's premier general contractor, serving Lee and Collier counties for the past 15 years. Tri-Town Construction provides all your building needs, from roofing to interior, exterior remodeling, and custom construction of brand new energy-efficient homes. With Tri-Town Construction, one call does it all. And when it comes to insurance claims for home and roofing repairs, Tri-Town Construction deals with the insurance company on your behalf. No other building contractor compares to Tri-Town Construction. To schedule an estimate and learn more about this environmentally friendly and community-minded company, visit tri-townconstruction.com. The last company you'll ever need for all your home repair, remodeling, and construction projects. Tri-Town Construction. Homegrown and here to stay.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. See NBA All-Stars Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. A portion of the proceeds to benefit Veterans Healthcare. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Get your tickets at NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations. Now, Hurricane Irma was a long time ago, but believe it or not, well, problems with tile roofs, they continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are just now feeling the effects of the hidden damage that occurred to their tile roof. Now, whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured tiles, these roofs are living on borrowed time. Now, tile roofs, by nature of their design, are susceptible to lift and powerful storms like hurricanes. When this occurs, your tile underlayment can be compromised, but you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now, with Cathedral Roofing Innovations, you get a great roofing company to inspect your roof for any damage. And just because you don't have leaks doesn't mean you don't have issues. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. They are the tile experts in Naples.
Limiting means
and they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com.
Got your caller.
Cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
Hey, Aaron Walker here from Naples Nissan.
Two
So
areas
now,
where there
you've
is
had
no
to have heard about our 8-year,
threat.
80,000-mile trade-in offer. If it's less than 8 years old with less than 80,000 miles on it, we'll give you the original base MSRP
David,
for it.
Massachusetts
Yeah, so whatever that
yesterday went
Toyota,
from
Honda,
31 to
Nissan, Hyundai, or Kia was
126,
worth 6, 7, 8
or
years ago,
116.
that's exactly what it'll be
75.
worth
I mean,
now.
Triple.
Yes, but
the number of
only at
people
Naples
in a
Nissan.
day.
Yeah, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler. Yep, we'll take those
Right.
too. Hundreds of
And
happy
it'll
customers
triple in
from
New York
all
today.
over Southwest Florida have already brought
Because we're
us their
finally getting
trade-in.
tests.
It's not too late for you to do the same. We've got over 400 new Nissan
Canada.
models on our lot. Pick out your favorite 2019 or 2020 model at NaplesNissan.com, and then we'll give you the original base MSRP for your trade-in.
My mom's
so you
next
can
door
drive
neighbor
it home
still planning. She's in her
today.
80s, planning on going to Europe
Seriously,
next week.
what are you waiting
Like,
for?
are you out of
Offer
your
on select
mind?
models with approved credit and cannot be combined. Visit NaplesNissan.com
She was,
for full
well, she's
details.
planning on going to Italy too. I'm like, first up, they're not going to let her in.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Miller and Moulton on this Wednesday. Thanks for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Streaming at foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live. Many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Speaking of Twitch, Seth Everett can be found there as well, and he's kind enough to join us once again. You can follow Seth on Twitter, Seth_Everett, and he's got his Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice podcasts. And before we find out what's on them, Seth, how are you?
I am good, guys. It's a crazy time in sports, and wow, this is unprecedented stuff.
Well,
I love how everyone out there in the media just loves being an expert. It's just so funny to see everybody's perspectives.
Well, I did want to ask you, just since you're in the Northeast, and obviously there's more of an outbreak in the Northeast than there is where we are in Florida.
Correct.
All right. So one, I just wanted to, get your perspective as, being in the media and living in the Northeast as to the coronavirus and its impact on society and sports, just from where you reside in North Jersey versus where those listening reside.
Sure. My kids do not have school tomorrow, as the teachers are having a prep day to learn how to administer coursework to get qualified as a full attendance day with the state. So they're saying that in the event of any kind of a shutdown in my town, they want to be ready for it, because what they don't want to do is not have kids advance to the next grade, because then you're affecting livelihoods, and things like that. So that's something. My kids don't have school tomorrow. There is a case of coronavirus 20 minutes from me. There is a 7-year-old that's within an hour. That alarmed me because I heard it hadn't really hit kids, so that kind of jarred me a little bit. And there is a coworker of mine at iHeartMedia, the office manager of our building. His wife has it. So yeah, it's real. And when I see people writing things like the flu kills more people, yeah, if you want to go by numbers, yes, the flu is much more widespread, but the flu is also understood and treatable, whereas this is very unknown. And, I am mildly concerned. I'm not an alarmist by any stretch. I am one of those people. Look, I have asthma, and I have the I don't have trouble breathing, but I have the propensity for whenever I get a cold, it turns into bronchitis. And I had a doctor call me, one of my, a pulmonologist, and said, "You need to be on steroid inhalers." And I said, "Why? I'm not sick." And they said, "You need to build up your lung strength just in case you get it." And I said, "Okay, I'll follow orders." I'm not a panicker. I'm not an alarmist. As far as sports are concerned, I dropped the original plan for my podcast, and I'm doing both podcasts on the impact of coronavirus. The great Jane McManus, formerly of ESPN, now with the New York Daily News and Marist. She has been brilliant in her coverage, in objectivity and not alarmist. So I did a podcast with her, and I think in 24 hours it's going to be outdated because things are constantly changing. The one sports question that I ask is, I don't understand why the Ivy League canceled, but the Big East and the ACC didn't. The MAC is having their conference tournament without fans. Why didn't the Ivy League do that? I don't know. And if I hear that it's just based on finances, then shame on everybody. It should be based on safety. And I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm not pretending that I have all the solutions. I don't know what the best solution is. But I do know that don't let greed be the thing. Let it be everybody's safety.
Well, and Seth, that's, I think great in theory, but I think we all can realize that that's not what's happening in real time because, as I've said, we live in Florida, and so we had on the local arena, Hertz Arena. We had the president of Hertz Arena on because they're the largest indoor facility in our county. Wanted to get a little perspective. Yeah. They've got Adam Sandler performing tomorrow night, still going as planned. They have a hockey game Saturday, still going as planned.
Does he do 8 crazy nights? I
hope so. But until, to me in Florida, Seth, until the people at Disney start saying, we're closing the parks, it's tough for me to close other things. When Hartsfield Airport's still open and Kennedy Airport's still open, it's tough for me to say shut everything down. It does seem like every league, and I don't know if you get this same perspective, Seth, but it seems like every league right now is waiting for another league to react.
Well, and I think the first league that has to happen is it has to be the NCAA. And that scares me because when in your lifetime has the NCAA ever made a decision where you said, yeah, right on, NCAA, I'm behind you? In your life. I mean, forget your broadcasting careers. In your life, have you ever heard that?
Thank you, Jack Buck.
Exactly.
Vern.
That's Vern. Sorry, that's Vern. I'm sorry. Yeah. In your life. Sorry.
Have you ever seen anything like it?
Never. I had an event. I was invited to a Warner Brothers event for Hall of Justice podcast. That was canceled. The auto show in New York was canceled. I have something going on with SAG-AFTRA. That was canceled. I had a meeting Monday in Manhattan, and I was asked to be on a podcasting committee. I thought that was really cool, right, for the union. And the first meeting is scheduled, and as I was driving home, it was canceled. They had me in to set me up. They put it in my calendar, and as I was driving home, it was canceled. So everything is crazy. I think Santa Clara, and I think and Seattle. My brethren in Seattle. I think those are going to dictate a lot of what happens. But I also said on the podcast, and I'll say this to you guys. I'm not political. I don't want to get into a political discussion, and I don't know if the photo was doctored. But there was a photo of the president shaking hands with the guy that had it, right?
Oh, yeah.
You saw that. You saw that too, right?
Yes.
And then 48 hours later, he was playing golf with 4 members of the Washington Nationals. And the reason I bring that up is forget him, Trump himself. He doesn't travel by himself. He's not renting getting an Uber. So he has a whole contingent of people that were all in the building with that guy that has the virus. Ted Cruz is self-containing and all these different things. And all I'm saying is if you get one player in a sport that has this virus, that league is shutting down. Because everyone needs to be quarantined. If it's a guy on the Los Angeles Lakers that gets the coronavirus, God forbid, and that whole locker room has to be quarantined. And just like the iHeart building that I'm in, where everybody that came in contact with the husband of the person that got it is in quarantine for 2 weeks. So the fact is people are talking, and everybody seems to be an expert on, we'll just play games without fans. That's great. The virus does not discriminate. The virus doesn't say we're going to get the janitor, but we're going to leave the point guard alone. And so that's where I think this thing comes. It's just like we said with the cheating scandal. Well, what happens when the next shoe falls? What happens if one of those 4 guys from the Nationals gets diagnosed with it? Or the PR guy that went with him? Or the photographer that went with him?
Yep, Seth. I mean, it's going on with Arsenal right now. I mean, they had 4 players come in contact with an owner of a Greek team, and they're on quarantine. And a Champions League's game had to be postponed. I mean, I get a newsletter every morning, John Wall Street. It's a kind of a sports and business thing.
Oh, I love it. That's my buddy Corey. Yeah, that's a great newsletter.
That was their point today. What happens when a player from a league gets it?
Yep.
That's the doomsday scenario for a professional sports league.
Well, and Seth, You know,
Jane McManus, just to go on that point, before you bring up your next comment, Jane McManus made an excellent point, and she said that on Selection Sunday, once the list is given, and you know the 68 teams, that Monday, all 68 teams get tested. And if they get tested, and assuming everybody is clear, then you play it without fans. But you have to do it. You have to do the due diligence. You cannot send all these kids to all these random cities, because the argument for the NCAA tournament is that even the best teams don't know where they're going to go. There is no home field advantage. So everything's a neutral site game, and you have to make sure that all the personnel are clear. And if you're going to tell me that all those programs are going to get tested Monday, I'd say go ahead with your NCAA tournament. But I don't think they want to do that because they're afraid someone has it.
Listen, I'm not advocating this. I don't think I would do it. But when I was listening to you say, listen, if one major league, whatever, but I'll just go with baseball. That season's going to start here in a couple of weeks. If you're trying to desperately prevent any of your players from getting this, couldn't you make the argument we need to shut down the rest of spring training? Okay, test everybody right now, and we've got 2 weeks until we start playing for real. And I understand they could then go to all their cities and contract it there. But, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could continue to extrapolate this out, couldn't you?
Sure. And the argument that I got, and this is why I felt weird doing the podcast, because it's already going to be outdated. The governor of Washington is going to announce that today, no gatherings of more than 250 people in King County. That's the Mariners.
Correct.
That takes the Mariners out without fans. There are 250 people in that building. There are 250 people and just support staff. And so I think I don't know how you, and then they're talking about relocation. So the Mariners have floated the idea, this was a great story in The Athletic, that they might play their games at Chase Field or whatever they call the Arizona ballpark now. And if you do that, then could you coerce the schedule where the Mariners could play a day game and the Diamondbacks could play a night game? You could do that if you want to save the sanctity of your season. Again, is that the priority? And I'd love to ask all these NBA players, so it's not just LeBron James, but Damian Lillard did it too. I know you don't want to play in empty arenas. I don't want to watch you in empty arenas, but shut up, because those guys need to realize that if they do it, it's for the common good. And you acting like babies saying you don't want to play if there's no fans in the building, you sound like children. And do me a favor, in a time of crisis, act like men.
Well, and that's why I don't know, but I have a pretty good theory that when LeBron backed off as hard as he did yesterday, it was right after Adam Silver called him and said, LeBron, we're going to play in empty arenas. I need you to go to a microphone and back off your statements, because I don't know what to tell you. It's going to happen.
Just support us.
Yeah, that's it. And look at it. He did. And he did. He backed off that as quickly as could be.
But Damian Lillard last night didn't hesitate. Damian Lillard came out last night and said, nope, I don't want to do it. And I just was like, you people, just shut up. Have you heard any hockey player say one thing? Sidney Crosby said one thing in saying, we'll do whatever the league wants.
Right. Well, and
whatever the league wants. Just do whatever you got to do. And then there's other sports, and you guys know I'm very active in Formula E. And I'm not. I'll tell this story on the air because this is. Yes, I negotiated with them. We didn't come to an agreement. I almost worked for them this year, and they canceled their third race today, Jakarta. Right. So they've canceled China. They've canceled Italy. Their next race is April 18th in Paris. Do you really think this is all going to be contained by then? And that's the other thing that I laugh at is when people go, well, Comic-Con's in July. We'll be fine. I was like, what? I didn't see that. And then there's this other theory that I heard on the media, and this is all sports media. They've all come out and they've said, well, once the summer months come, it'll burn most of this stuff off. And I said, did that happen in Los Angeles? Because they have warm weather. I didn't know that they were having a winter solstice in Italy these days. So I just think that everyone needs to realize that no one has a real good grip on this thing, and no one has the answers. But all I ask is that people use their heads.
He's Seth Everett. Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice are the two podcasts. So let everybody know about the podcast since they'll be outdated by this time.
Yeah, they better listen today because he's got to redo it.
Right. Listen to it right now because in an hour it'll be outdated. So Jane McManus came on Sports with Friends. We had the owner of the Washington Wizards and Washington Capitals coming on, Zach Leonsis, or his son, and it's a very interesting podcast, but we bumped it. That'll be next week. So Jane McManus on coronavirus. And then we're doing a news segment for Hall of Justice because there have been 6 Comic-Cons canceled. The James Bond movie has been moved.
Yep.
And there's rumors about Black Widow. But I didn't want to do 2 podcasts just on a virus. So I have a juicy rumor for you guys. And your superhero people will eat this one up. And this is coming out tomorrow. I cannot wait for this podcast to air. There is a rumor. So DC Comics is rebooting their whole comics line for the 5th time in 15 years. Which seems really ridiculous. And the question then became, now that AT&T is the primary owner of Time Warner, they own DC Comics. And the rumor, this is just a rumor, is that AT&T is looking to sell DC Comics.
Whoa!
And if DC...
Whoa!
Hold on.
That is a hot take.
That's a hot rumor. And just to go one step further, who do you know that has the most money in the world that would buy DC Comics?
Amazon.
Disney.
Lost
and
again.
And then the next time you see Superman on the big screen, he's with Captain America.
Oh, I thought he was going to be with Mickey. I thought he was going to be with Mickey Mouse.
Yes, Mickey Mouse. The whole point of that story was just to tell you about Mickey Mouse.
Seth Everett.
Busted your job, Seth.
Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. All right, download the podcast. Seth, be safe. All the best to you and your family.
Yes, you guys too. Everyone be safe.
Enjoy the babysitting. Spend a lot of time with your kids and have fun.
Yes, we're going to play a lot of games.
There you go. I recommend Junior Clue.
Junior Clue. What do they do? They punch him in the nose instead of killing him with
they eat cake as opposed to killing somebody. They eat cake with whatever the drink is at a certain time. Very cute. Daughter loves it.
I went to a Verizon store. I'll tell you this real quick. I went to a Verizon store. I had to get my iPhone fixed. And I go to the Verizon place, and the guy came out with literally blue surgical gloves. I said, where do you think my phone's been?
We know where your phone's been, Seth, and that's why he had the gloves. We all know where we read our phones. Seth, have a great day, buddy.
See you guys.
Seth_Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, and we talk to him 8:30 on Wednesdays here on Miller and Moulton. Good, bad, and ugly, and what's on tap before we say goodbye on this hump day. Thanks for listening. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I texted with a source last night. I said, what if the Miami Dolphins said to Jerry Jones, we'll give you 2 first-round picks for Dak Prescott? What would Jerry Jones do? Because to build a successful team, you have that quarterback who's not a financial drain. I think Jerry Jones would seriously contemplate that.
Dan Patrick.
And here they are.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Dial star 2020. Friends, I care.
When it comes to cataract surgery, the lens you choose matters. Blurry and weakened vision caused by cataracts are limitations to your lifestyle that you can and should live without. Dr. Jonathan France and the caring team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you navigate your vision challenges with an intelligent solution, the PanOptix intraocular lens. Dr. France, proud to not only be the first in Southwest Florida to bring you the breakthrough technology of a trifocal solution, he's also the #1 PanOptix surgeon in the state of Florida. PanOptix, specially designed to help patients see 20/20 at distances that are near, far, and even in between. See your future in 2020. Find out if you are a candidate for PanOptix today by dialing *** 2020 from your cell or call 239-418-0999.
Exactly.
Get out the sad music.
You've waited all year. Now it's here. Jeep Madness at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers. Don't miss the Jeep Celebration event at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers. New Jeep Renegade Latitude, $189 per month. New Grand Cherokee Laredo, $269 per month. New Jeep Gladiator Sport 4x4, $279 per month. Over 1,100 Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. Qualifying purchases with 0 down and no monthly payments till September. That's right, 0 down and no monthly payments till September. And exclusive of that offer, Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers will give you $6,000 minimum for any trade in any condition, running or not, at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
42 monthly says 10,000 miles per year, $19.99 due at signing plus tax, dock, and dealer fee. No security deposit, minimum trade for the purchase of select new vehicles, in stock units only. Offers don't combine.
Hey, this is Adam Botana from Baywater Exclusive Boat Club, the only family-owned and operated boat club in Southwest Florida. At Baywater, we have a contractual 10-to-1 member-to-boat ratio. That gives you unlimited access to over 40 of our boats, whether you're fishing or just cruising. Baywater has you covered. And folks, the water's beautiful, and it's only getting better, and the fish are biting. Come on out. Want to keep the boats overnight? At Baywater, anything is possible. This weekend, we're holding an open house and running special pricing, and no dues for 6 months. That's right, no dues for 6 months. Stop by and see the Baywater difference. Call me, Adam Botana, at 239-495-0455. That's 495-0455. Again, 495-0455. Find us online at bwboatclub.com or just Google BW Boat Club. Baywater, the exclusive club of Southwest Florida.
We're on the phone with our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tec to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tec for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tec in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec Stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec Wood. Look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
From the best headlines,
the best,
to the worst.
It's the worst thing that ever happened to anybody ever.
Prepare yourself and hide the women and children. This is Mark Miller's Good, Bad, and Ugly on Fox Sports Radio.
You're live.
For the good today, we go to the Pittsburgh area, where Katie Couch is a school counselor, and she found out her school was running out of paper. The Pittsburgh area school's in a low-income district, so she wanted to do something. She called office supply stores who told her to fill out a donor request form. She did. She wanted quicker results. She went to Twitter to ask local businesses if they would help. Soon, Pittsburgh area businesses, other school districts, and hundreds of donors send in paper along with all their types of school supplies through an Amazon wish list she set up. Says she's incredibly appreciative of the donations. For the bad, we go to Ashland, Louisiana, where Stormy Parfait was arrested Friday after she showed up to bond out her boyfriend. When she put the $5,000 cash up, well, it nearly knocked the sheriff's office employee out with the strong smell of marijuana. So a detective searched her car, found another $40,000 in her car, pills, food stamps that weren't hers. They went to the house and found, plenty more. So, well, they'll spend a little time in jail together. And for the ugly, we go local. where a 12-year-old at Three Oaks Middle School was arrested after piercing a teacher's hand with a thumbtack.
Oh, wow.
Put it between his fingers, asked a teacher for a high five, and punctured the teacher's hand.
Wasn't very
Not a good practical joke, young man.
No.
And you, unfortunately, are going to live with that for a long, long time. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, March 11th. This is 2020.
And close the door when you go because I don't want those mosquitoes coming in here.
All right, a lot of college hoops, as you would expect. You got the Big Ten tournament that's starting, Big Ten Network for that, Northwestern Minnesota at 6 o'clock if you're interested. SEC tournament underway. Interestingly enough, in Nashville, they're playing. Vandy has shut down school. SEC tournament going on just a couple of miles away. Pac-12 tournament gets underway. The Canes are in action in the ACC tournament at noon on ESPN. Couple of decent games at night on the Deuce, Boston College, Notre Dame, and North Carolina, Syracuse at 9:30. NBA, the Heat are home tonight against Charlotte. That'll be on Fox Sports Florida. The ESPN double dip is Denver and Dallas at 8, New Orleans, Sacramento at 10:30. You do get Zion. Hockey, San Jose at the Blackhawks, 8 o'clock. NBC SN. Mark, from a spring training travel standpoint, Twins are hosting the Braves at 1. In Port Charlotte, it's a night game, 6:30, Red Sox at Rays. So all four locals, if you will, playing one another. Twins home at 1, Rays home at 6:30. And that is what's on tap. FGC women in action tonight. Very quickly, interesting scenario. If they win and the second seed North Alabama win, FGC women are automatically in the NCAA tournament because North Alabama is not eligible. So if you're an FGC women's fan, you're rooting for North Alabama because that'll put you in the tournament.
And then maybe you want to lose to them so you get off that 8-9 line that you're currently on.
Exactly, and be 11-12. That's the perfect scenario. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. We'll do it again tomorrow. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
From the best headlines.
The best.
To the worst.
It's the worst thing that anybody ever.
Prepare yourself and hide the women and children. This is Mark Miller's Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Oh, that's a
on
misfire.
Fox Sports Radio.
We already did this.
I think we're done.
I hope we are, because I'm done.